What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the stream. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I appreciate all you guys stopping by. What's up with it? What's up with it? Thank you guys for stopping by today's stream. Make sure you guys leave a like on today's stream. That's the most important thing you can do. Fucking hit that like button aggressively. Thank you for the super chat, Jason. I'm going to get to that in roughly half a second. I appreciate everyone stopping by. We're going to have a great week number one, as per usual. Always going to be great. Always going to have a fun time. I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you so much. And we're going to get into the questions. Hope you guys enjoyed the new intro. I figured out how to add in a movie clip, so I added in the Joker saying, "Here we go." That movie's absolutely fire. Rest in peace to Heath Ledger. So let's do it. Let's do it. Jason, thank you for the super chat. You need a kicker, super flex. Drop Penix, quarterback 3, Coleman, Judkins, Javonte, Benson. I have Brown, Pacheco, Henderson, Nico, Devontae Smith, T-Mac, Thornton. He stays. Okay. So, hey, what's up, JP? From Canada land. All right. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. All right. My opinion here is you need to drop someone for a kicker. You can't drop Penix. It's a super flex league. You can't be getting rid of your quarterback 3, especially one that's as good as Penix. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I think Penix is like the best quarterback ever, but Penix is significantly better than probably a lot of people's quarterback 3s. Like Penix in my home league, I'm pretty sure is someone's quarterback 2, my super flex league. So the fact that he's your quarterback 3, you definitely cannot get rid of him. So it would be between, for me, Coleman, Judkins, Benson. I would probably just drop Benson because unless something happens to unless something happens to James Conner, I don't really project that Benson's going to have all that great of a season. Now, Benson's a good player, so it is entirely possible that Benson gets more work, but I wouldn't project that. So my best guess for right now would just be to cut Trey Benson. That's what I would do if it was my team. Again, you can't get rid of your quarterback 3. You just simply cannot do that. And I also don't think I have the cojones to get rid of Javonte after what we just saw. And plus, with how much hype Coleman is getting, I don't think you can really get rid of him either. So you're kind of just in the position where you have to just get rid of Trey Benson. I think Trey Benson's a talented player, so it does kind of suck, but at the same time, you need a kicker. You got to play someone. Just cut Trey Benson. That's the easiest answer to that equation. I'm not cutting Coleman. I'm not cutting Penix. I'm not cutting Javonte. I'm not cutting Judkins. So it has to be Benson. Thank you for the super chat. Raymond, thank you for the super chat as well. Let me see if I can find Raymond's question here. Everybody loves Raymond. Is that the name of the show? Shout out to Raymond. I'm trying to find his question. I'm sweating like crazy already, and we just started streaming 2 seconds ago. Gotta love it. Raymond's question. Kyler Murray, who is sick, or T-Law/May? That's a good question. Now, I did not adjust my ranking of Kyler Murray. I am nervous about him being sick. If I had Kyler... Oh, it's okay, Raymond. If I had Kyler, I'm not necessarily running to the waiver wire. And see, in your scenario, it's fine to pivot off of Kyler, right? And just play Trevor Lawrence, which is probably what I would do. But if you have Kyler, right, and you're looking at the waiver wire, it's like, Kyler or Penix, or Kyler or Stafford or something, then I'm probably just going to stick with Kyler. So that's why I'm not going to move him, because honestly, who knows how much of a play the sickness actually is. You see guys go out there, they're quote unquote sick, they're fine. You see guys that are quote unquote sick, they play like dog shit. So it's pretty hard to know for sure what that's going to be out of Kyler. I assume, though, if he's going to suit up, he's going to be good enough to play. So my lean would be to, if you want to be safe, you can just play Trevor Lawrence. That's probably what I would do. I would lean with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has an exquisite matchup, just like Kyler does. And now you're just going to feel a little bit safer. So I would lean the way of going Trevor Lawrence. I don't think it's bad necessarily, though, to keep playing Kyler. Right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like because you're playing Kyler, your team is now screwed. Now, my mom always told me that if you play video games, it makes you sick. So I wonder if that's why Kyler's sick. But I would definitely lean with going Trevor Lawrence just ever so slightly. Again, I don't think I'm going to adjust my ranking of Kyler Murray. I'd be fine playing him there, but you can go ahead and go Trevor Lawrence. I think it is just a bit safer now. Trevor Lawrence feels a little bit safer. So I would go with T-Law. I adjusted my rankings, by the way, of McCaffrey. I bumped him down slightly to like the RB5. If you have Christian McCaffrey, you are still playing Christian McCaffrey. Just an FYI. If you have him, you have to play him. You cannot sit him. As long as Christian McCaffrey suits up, you play him. I understand he could completely shit the bed. I understand he could play terrible, but you do not sit one of the best players in the NFL, even when they're banged up. Unless, of course, it comes out and says, like, oh, McCaffrey's going to get 5% of the snaps. He's going to play 2 snaps. That's like, okay, then you would want to worry. But right now, I'm not worrying at all about McCaffrey. So I'm going T-Law over Kyler. Steve, thank you for the super chat. Ertz or Jatavion Sanders? I would go with Ertz. I don't like the matchup very much for Zach Ertz up against the Giants, but Jatavion Sanders feels like, in my opinion, a very big risk, whereas Ertz could at least find the end zone, especially if Terry doesn't play as well due to the fact that he just got off of being the holdout. So I'd feel pretty good about Ertz compared to Jatavion Sanders. I like Jatavion Sanders. I think he's going to be very good, but I'm going to go ahead and lean with Ertz. Thank you for the super chat, Steve. And against the Giants, they could really run the score up on the Giants. Monty Mula, rate my team. Quarterback, Bo Nix, Saquon Barkley at running back. Wide receivers are Tyreek, Evans. Tight end is your Tucker Kraft. Flex, MHJ, bench, Harvey, Diggs, Charbonnet, B-Rob, Reed, Downs, Pollard. Any changes? No. I would not make any changes. I think week 1 is prime. Overthink every single aspect of your lineup time. And what I mean by that is you went into the draft and you drafted all these guys and you felt good about them, right? Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have drafted them. But now you're sitting here, it's week 1. You're getting a little bit nervous. So that's why you don't want to do that. But you don't want to play the guys that you drafted. So my opinion is you just stick with who you got. I like RJ Harvey. I think RJ Harvey is going to have a potentially big season. But in week 1, why play him when you have the players that you have? Same thing with Diggs. I really like Diggs. I think Diggs is going to have a huge year. But why would you ever play Diggs over Tyreek or Evans or MHJ in a great matchup? So for me, I think you've got the line correct. I would be ecstatic if I had your team in my 10-team league. So I think you did a great job. You even have a competent quarterback as well as a good tight end. So I feel very good about your team. I would not change anything. I think going down the stretch of the season, you're going to have a lot of questions when it comes to Mike Evans, Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Diggs. Which 2 out of the 3 do you want to start weekly? But week 1, I think you got this correct. So I would stick with the team you have. I feel very, 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 very good about your team. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Do you think Javonte Williams was a fluke this week? I've been telling people all week that the better offensive line equals a better run game. What's up, Brian? What's up, None? In my opinion, I don't think it was necessarily a fluke, but I do think if Carter doesn't get suspended or ejected from the game, do we think that happens? Maybe not. Like, I don't think it was necessarily a fluke, but I wouldn't expect Javonte Williams to be that consistent. I mean, let's just look at the numbers that he put up. I'm going to pull them up real quick. Javonte Williams fantasy data. I mean, obviously, I know he had a good game, but he was averaging 3.6 yards per carry, 15 carries for 54 yards. Not really a big pass catching threat. 2 receptions for 10 yards. He scored 20 points. I mean, look, if the Dallas Cowboys end up being a very good offense, then yeah, Javonte Williams will be useful. And I wouldn't look to just trade Javonte Williams off and sell him necessarily low compared to what you paid for him. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't expect Javonte Williams to be a guy that is able to average like 16 plus points per game. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to have big games, but once they end up having what's his name be healthy. Oh man, I don't know what Jaden Blue is healthy. I think that's going to impact things too because you're going to see more Jaden Blue. Miles Sanders clearly can't play based on that game. That was very clear. Miles Sanders is not good. So I think Javonte is going to be fine. But I just don't think Javonte will ever end up being like Javonte is not going to win you your league, in my opinion. But I wouldn't look to just trade him after one game personally, unless you can get someone that's stupid because every league has that person that's stupid where they had X player completely shit the bed and they're like, oh, I want Javonte Williams because he scored 20 points. We did this exercise last night about how crazy week number 1 is in fantasy football. And I'm just going to read the things off again. At wide receiver in week number 1 last season, week number 1 of last season, the wide receiver 1 was, and then we're going to finish, we're going to answer more questions, obviously. The wide receiver 1 last year was Jaden Reed. The wide receiver 2, Cooper Kupp. The wide receiver 3, Allen Lazard. The wide receiver 4, Tyreek Hill. 5, Jameson Williams. So in week 1, the top 5, Tyreek makes sense and JMO makes sense. None of the other guys made sense. None of the other guys did anything that season. So it's very telling that week 1 could just be a big wool over the eyes type of thing. But I don't think it's necessarily a fluke that he could do that again, but I wouldn't buy into him being like a weekly must-start option. Ethan, thank you for the super chat. Who do I sit? Egbuka, Tracy, Travion, or Marvin? I would sit Tyrone Tracy. I think Tyrone Tracy is going to have a pretty good season in New York with the Giants. I feel very good about Tyrone Tracy. But week 1 up against the Commanders, this just doesn't feel like the kind of game where they're going to be able to heavily rely on Tyrone Tracy, be able to run the ball a ton. Now, he's going to be able to catch a bunch of passes out of the backfield. So I don't think he's going to go bust in week 1, meaning he scores like 5 fantasy points. I don't think he's going to do that. But when I have Egbuka, who I think could be a top 10 wide receiver in week 1, I think could outscore Mike Evans. I think that's a huge scoring game environment. When you have Marvin Harrison Jr., sure, Kyler's a little bit sick, but he's going to get fed. Great matchup against the Saints. And then you have Travion, who should be pretty involved in week number 1. I just feel better about the other 3. And it's not necessarily an indictment on what I think about Tracy because I'm a very big fan of Tyrone Tracy this season. So I would sit Tyrone Tracy, though. Miguel, thank you for the super chat. Hey, bro, full PPR in my flex spot. JMO, Egbuka, DeAndre Swift. Great question. Thank you for the super chat. I would go with Egbuka. Now, Jameson Williams just got a fat contract. I think he still has 2 years left on his regular deal. Then he got I think it was a 3-year extension. Fat deal. The team clearly likes JMO, obviously. We already knew that. Now, it's good for the team because JMO's money is just going to keep going up. That's how it works in the NFL. If JMO has a great next year, the money's just going to keep piling and piling up. The contracts get significantly bigger. That is just how it works. So I feel good about him this season. I feel actually better now, but I would go ahead and go with Egbuka this week again. I think this matchup up against Atlanta is going to be one of the highest scoring games of the week. I think this is going to be a dominant performance. I think it's going to be absolutely crazy of a game. So I think Egbuka is going to be able to score 20 plus points potentially. I wouldn't project him to score 20 points, but I think he is probably your safest bet while also having the second highest upside. Him and JMO pretty much have similar upside. JMO just has a much worse matchup. And Swift, you're kind of just, when you play DeAndre Swift, you're just like, okay, I'm getting 12 fantasy points. And that's fine. It's fine to score 12 fucking fantasy points. But yeah, I would go ahead and just play Egbuka. I love that matchup for him. Should I start DK or Henderson or Golden? Great question. I still have DK ranked relatively high compared to some other people just because I think DK Metcalf is just going to get force-fed in this game. I don't think DK Metcalf's going to come out jump street and have his best game of the season. I have him ranked as my wide receiver 31, which I don't think is crazy high, but he's going up against Sauce. It's not the best matchup. I would probably lean with Travion Henderson. I like Golden a ton, but again, that matchup up against Detroit to me just feels like a slow start for Golden. Not like a slow start where he scores 3 points, but like seven fantasy points seems fair for him. I think he could have a big game, but it's a tough matchup. I'm going to go with Henderson. I think Henderson's going to see a boatload of targets in this game. I'm not sure how many carries he's going to get, but I think he's going to be involved enough to score touchdowns. So that's why I would go with Henderson. So yeah, I would go with Travion Henderson. Vic.tx.361. Thank you for the super chat. PPR, Flex, Juwan Jennings, or Travis Etienne. I would go ahead and play Juwan Jennings. That would be my lean. I don't think that Travis Etienne's a bad play because I do think week one, Travis Etienne's probably going to see a majority of the touches on this team. I don't think that he's going to dominate, but he could have a good enough game to be start worthy, and that's probably how I see things going. But Juwan Jennings, he is coming back from injury or the contract situation, so I don't expect a nuclear game, but I do think Juwan Jennings could easily be the number one target on the 49ers in this game, and I think the matchup up against Seattle is good, so my main lean there would be with Juwan Jennings. I like Travis Etienne here, but again, if Bigsby got 50% of the touches and Bigsby outscored Etienne, would you be surprised? I wouldn't, so I'm going to lean with Juwan Jennings. Nick Davidson, thank you for the super chat. Also, do you think Hollywood Brown's going to be the new wide receiver one in KC? In terms of targets, I do think that in week one. I do think going forward until Xavier Worthy's back, I do think that. I don't think Hollywood Brown's that good anymore. If I'm keeping it 100 with you, if I was to tell you how good I think Hollywood is, I think he's definitely not the guy that he used to be back in the day on the Ravens. I still think he's a talented player, so he's okay, but not a guy that, look, if you pick up Hollywood Brown, it's perfectly fine. Because I like Hollywood Brown enough as the wide receiver one in Kansas City, but he will never be a guy that, if Xavier Worthy was to miss the whole season, which isn't a guarantee, it's seeming more like 3 to 4 weeks, in those games, Hollywood Brown is startable. It's just not, I don't expect Hollywood Brown to do what he did last week. I would expect Hollywood Brown to be a guy that gets you 13 points, right? 12, 13 points, a fine flex option. I don't think he smashes, though, if I'm being honest with you, because I do think we'll see more Kelsey probably, and we'll see them try to rely more on the run game when there's so many injuries to the wide receivers. But yeah, I do think until Rashee Rice comes back and until Xavier Worthy's back, Hollywood Brown, the expectation would be that he is the wide receiver number one on the team. Christopher, thank you for the super chat. 2 teams, Pittman or Jaden Higgins, Swift or Harvey? Great question. I would lean with Swift over Harvey. I like RJ Harvey, but I think week one we see more of J.K. Dobbins. That's not necessarily an indictment on Harvey. It's just kind of how I feel Sean Payton's going to start things off with the veteran, and then they will eventually pivot to giving the ball more to Harvey, or when J.K. Dobbins gets hurt like he always does. I don't root for injuries. I will never be sitting on here being oh, I hope X player gets hurt. I don't do that, but let's be honest. If someone was to get hurt this year, my bet would be on J.K. Dobbins, right? He just always gets hurt, and that's just, it sucks for him, but that's just how the cookie kind of crumbles for him. So I would go Swift in week one just because I believe he gets a safe amount of touches, a safe amount of targets out of the backfield, and he's in an offense where up against the Vikings defense, they could score a decent amount of points. So, and that is a fact, Captain Spock. I would go with Swift over Harvey, and then Jaden Higgins or Pittman. Man, I think this week's going to be tough for Pittman. I do have Pittman ranked ahead of Higgins, so I would lean with Pittman because I am a little bit worried about how Josh Downs is going to perform in week one. But I do think Jaden Higgins is the wide receiver 2 without Christian Kirk. It's kind of a toss-up, but I would lean with Michael Pittman just because the Dolphins corners, I'll be 100% honest with you, the Dolphins cornerbacks are absolutely dog shit. They're so bad. If Daniel Jones has enough brain cells to rub together, he should be able to hit Pittman a couple of times towards Pittman having a decent game. So I'd go Pittman, and I would go with DeAndre Swift. You think Egbuka is going to outperform Evans? I don't think that's a guarantee, but I think it's possible. I think it is very, very possible. Henderson or Warren, and Tet McMillan or Diggs. Great question. I would go with Henderson over Warren. I think Warren is definitely a safe bet for week 1, right? Because he's probably going to see a majority of the touches for the team, and then they are eventually going to push further towards it being Caleb Johnson as the season goes along. But Warren week 1, he's going to get a safe amount of touches, but it is up against the Jets. I think the Jets defense will play better this year. They have all the players to play well. So I would go with Henderson though, just because I think, again, Henderson's upside is like 20 plus points. Warren's upside on a good day, I could see him getting like 15 points if I'm being honest with you. So Henderson and then T-Mac or Diggs. Diggs, it's like the same question basically. Warren is much safer than Henderson. Diggs is much safer than T-Mac, but I'm going with T-Mac because I think that has the upside of being a very high-scoring game with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I like T-Mac a ton. I talked him up all summer long, so I'm going to continue to believe in him. So T-Mac, week 1, like the matchup, and I like Henderson, week 1 up against the Raiders. PPR, choose 1 for the flex. RJ Harvey, Diggs, or Ridley. Bentley, thank you for the super chat. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker because we're still behind by a couple of minutes. But if you super chat, you're still going to get your full-on answer. So for me, Ridley week 1 is basically a last-ditch effort. What I mean by that is maybe you don't have the wide receiver depth that you're super confident in, so you throw Ridley out there, right? Ridley's a very talented player, but he is going up against a very, 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 very tough matchup in the Denver Broncos, going up against PS2, Patrick Surtain. And that's not something that I want to be heavily invested in week 1. I like Ridley. I think he's going to have a great season. But in week 1, no. He's a big no-no. Diggs, I get they might ease him in a little bit. Maybe that's what you think. But I think he's going to be perfectly fine. I think he comes out, puts up a top 30 game at the wide receiver position with big upside. So I like Stephon Diggs. My lean would be heavily onto Stephon Diggs. RJ Harvey, again, I think they ease him in. Ridley, bad matchup. So for me, it's pretty clearly Diggs. Started Herbert, like you said. Now give me your opinion on Chubb. Well, look at that. I told someone to start Herbert. Feeling like a fucking genius. Feeling like a genius. Someone had a good time with that. So my opinion would be Chubb, Warren, Ridley, and why you'd pick them half PPR. Thanks. All right, we just talked about Ridley as a last-ditch effort. Right? He's going up against Patrick Surtain. He is Cam Ward's wide receiver 1, so he is going to get a lot of targets, but we'll see what the production ends up being. Chubb is the running back 1 in Houston. I like Nick Chubb. I don't love the matchup up against the Rams. I am pretty concerned about how the game will go, what his usage will actually look like, how much they're using Dameon Pierce, how much they are going to use Woody Marks. To me, it feels like a clear stay away scenario, right? Chubb could play very good, and I hope he plays very good because I have Chubb on a lot of my teams because I drafted him. But Chubb's the kind of guy where I want to just watch from afar. Don't have him in my lineup. Watch what happens. See what goes down. Does he play good? Does he shit the bed? What ends up happening? I can watch it from afar, and I don't need him potentially imploding my lineup. Warren feels like you're getting your 10 points. You could get 15. He should be the lead back. Not the best matchup, but he'll get some dump offs from Mr. Discount Double Check. My lean would be gun to the head. I go with Jaylen Warren. That would be my opinion. I think I love Ridley, and I don't even really like Jaylen Warren, but I think Jaylen Warren's the smartest bet in week number 1. Just because, again, Ridley is going to have such tough coverage. He could easily go bust. And I don't mean like go bust 5 points, like literally 1 fantasy point. Like he is strapped up and stands no chance. So, Ryan, I would go ahead and just go Jaylen Warren. You already started Herbert, so you already got a solid floor of points on your fantasy team. So, I'm going to go with Jaylen Warren. I'm going to keep it safe. Ray, Otto or Strange, who do you start? Thank you. No problem, Ray Garcia. Thank you for the super chat. Otten or Strange. I don't know why I said Otto, like Dr. Otto Octavius. We'll talk about Christian McCaffrey when I'm done with these super chats. And I'm going to pull up a report while I'm talking just to see if there's anything new that we could speak about. But yeah, Otten or Strange. Week 1, I'm going with Strange. Evan Ingram being gone vacates 7+ targets to the Jaguars offense. Is that all going to Strange? Probably not, because Travis Hunter's there. But in a game environment that I think is very, very high scoring, I'm going to lean with Strange. I think both guys are risky. Otten has been banged up for a decent amount of time now. So if Otten does play, he's probably not at 100%. Whereas I haven't read anything that would tell me that Strange is not at 100%. So the health pushes you towards Strange. The matchup, I love this matchup up against the Panthers for Strange. I think Strange could have a big game. Both guys have pretty high upside, kind of low floor plays. So I'll just lean with the guy ranked higher in Strange just because I'm more confident in his health. And if I had to bet, which matchup do I like better, it would be Otten. It would be, it would be Strange. I just think Strange is a little bit safer. I lean with Strange. Again, just because he's more healthy. Vic.tx, thank you for the super chat. Pearsall or Cup, Jets or Patriots? Great question. Personally, I'm going to lean with Pearsall over Cup. I think Cup could have a good year. But deep down in the back of my brain, everything I think about when it comes to Cooper Kupp is why would the Rams get rid of him? Realistically, why would they lose that much money to get rid of him? Because they think he's washed, would be my thought. Now, could Kupp revitalize his career on the Seahawks? Yeah, he's going to be fine. But Pearsall, it's the young blood. It's the new guy on the new kids on the block with Ricky Pearsall. Juwan Jennings should be fine, but I think Pearsall is going to be the number one wide receiver on this team. So I'm leaning with Ricky Pearsall. Think he comes out the gate with a bunch of targets and potentially puts up 20 plus points. I feel way better about Pearsall than I do with Kupp. And then Jets or Patriots, that one is much more of a toss-up in my mind. I think the Raiders offense is going to look pretty good today. I think Geno Smith's a large upgrade off of what we have seen the last few seasons with the Raiders offense. I think it's week one, new system, Pete Carroll. I think the Patriots defense should be good, but the Patriots don't have Christian Gonzalez in this game, and that's bad for the Patriots. That hurts the Patriots defense because he's the kind of guy that could lock up Jacoby Myers, throw away the key, and then you're kind of relying on Dante Thornton, Brock Powers, as well as Ashton Genty. But without Gonzalez, I think that's really going to end up hurting Mr. Patriots defense, Mr. Rob Kraft. So I'd go with the Jets up against Aaron Rodgers. It's a revenge game. Aaron Rodgers could go belt to ass. I could see that happening, but I'm going with the Jets. The Jets defense is one of the best in the NFL. The question is, can the team actually squeeze that play out of the defense? So Pearsall and the Jumbo Jets. 12-man full PPR flex, Egbuka or Garrett Wilson? That's a great question. Those guys are ranked very, very close to one another. I have Egbuka, wide receiver 25, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 23. What I will say about this question is I think Garrett Wilson is more risky in this game than Egbuka is because the fact that this is projected to be a low-scoring game. So I don't really think Garrett Wilson's going to score, but I think he's going to get fed a lot of targets in this game. So that makes me feel slightly better about him. That's why I have Garrett Wilson ranked ahead of him. Again, the difference in ranking is Garrett Wilson 23, Egbuka 25. So it's not like I feel 9,000 times better about Wilson compared to Egbuka. Really just depends also on how you're feeling about your matchup, right? If you feel like you're going to win, like if you feel like you've got a good spot, you already have some points on your team, this is how I'll answer the question. If you feel good about your projection, if you feel like you're going to win, you play Garrett Wilson because Garrett Wilson's probably not going to completely fuck you over and shit the bed potentially like Egbuka could because it's his first start. Egbuka has much bigger upside, though, due to the matchup. So if you feel like you're going to lose, go Garrett Wilson. If you feel like you're going to lose, go Egbuka. If you're feeling much better, go Garrett Wilson. Gun to the head. If you don't want to consider anything, you're just like, Nick, who's the better player this week? It's Garrett Wilson. Jared, thank you for the super chat. Full PPR, Garrett Wilson or Travis Hunter? I'm going Garrett Wilson. I like Travis Hunter. There's a lot of positive reports about Travis Hunter. I have him ranked as the wide receiver 32. I don't think that's me being off of him. I don't think that's me being balls deep onto him, pause, either. But I do think he's going to have a pretty good performance in his first game. So my lean would be Garrett Wilson. Again, I don't love the matchup up against the Steelers, but I just think he's going to guaranteed get 9+ targets in this game. And that goes a long way. If he catches the ball 7 times, he could easily get 7 for 80 in like a full PPR league. That's a pretty solid game. So I'd go Garrett Wilson for me over Travis Hunter. It's a lot safer. David, would you start Hunter over Ridley? Yes, I would. Again, Ridley is the last ditch effort. Ridley is break glass in case of emergency. Ridley is fuck it. I don't trust whoever the hell's on my bench. I'm going to play Ridley because Ridley's a great player. That's what I would. That's my assessment of it. That's how I see things. Hunter, sure, there's definitely risk with him, but the matchup is significantly better. And I think that Travis Hunter will just play better than Calvin Ridley. So I would lean with Travis Hunter by a very strong margin. I feel significantly stronger having Hunter in my lineup versus Ridley. So thank you for the super chat. Stroud or May? I have Nico. I'm going May. B-Rob is suiting up, so if he's active, CMC goes down. Yeah, I agree. The playbook is new to him. I would not expect, look, if McCaffrey's out, I would not expect B-Rob to have a huge game. He could easily score because he's a bigger bodied guy. But I think if it was me, I would probably lean with Garendo over B-Rob. It's close, and my hope is just that CMC plays. I don't think we'll get any more news about CMC until maybe an hour from now, and then more news will come out at 3. The report is that he's going to play. I'm going to believe in the report. Again, do you have to believe everything the coaches say? No, but I'm going to believe it. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, not the best situation. Obviously, not the best. I hope Josh Allen scores 26. I think he could. Shaheed, Caleb Johnson, or Coleman for the flex. I'm in a deep 12-team league, 3 receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Great question. Week 1, I would go. That's a really good question. It's between Shaheed and Coleman. I'm going Coleman. All the reports are just so positive on Coleman about how many targets he's going to get in this offense, how he's the wide receiver 1. We'll see. Again, I wouldn't love starting Coleman, but out of those guys, it's Coleman. What do you think about the Cardinals' defense versus the Saints? I love them. Connor or Genty? Week 1, Genty. I love James Conner, man, but you took Genty in the first or second round. You're not sitting him. Flex spot, T-Mac or James Conner? James Conner, great matchup against the Saints. Jalen Warren, Olave, or Jacoby Myers. Olave or Pearsall. For flex, Myers, Tet McMillan, or McLaurin. I have wide receiver 1, Chase, wide receiver 2, Tyreek Hill. I would go with Tet McMillan. Pearsall or Monty, Pearsall. Sutton or Jacoby, Sutton. I have a good feeling about Herbert, and that motherfucker popped off. He did. He had a huge game. What's up, Joshua, as well? 2 flex, PPR from Waddle, Pollard, Swift, Ridley, Golden. Which 2? I would go week 1. I'd go Waddle and Pollard. Sutton or Jacoby, Sutton. Jalen Warren, Olave, Jacoby. Apologies if this went through already. My Wi-Fi froze. All good. Mason or Tillman, Mason. Jacoby or Diggs. That's close. Jacoby or Diggs. That's close. I'd go Diggs. Sutton or Jacoby, Sutton. Should I play McMillan, Egbuka, Pearsall, Jameson, Williams? I would go with McMillan. Strange or Ingram? Ingram. Half PPR. Demont, Tank Bigsby, CMC. Yeah, you got to play McCaffrey. So I'd go McCaffrey and Joe Burrow. Scott, thank you for the super chat. Morning, my dude. Good morning to you as well. Half PPR, flex. Jordan Mason, Travis Hunter, Pitts, Ollie Gordon, thanks. Hashtag Bills Mafia. I appreciate the super chat. Even though it's fins up over here, thank you. I do appreciate it. And I don't actually hate Bills fans. I don't even hate really Josh Allen. I just can't stand losing to the team every single year. It just sucks so bad. Like, just going into a game, knowing you're going to lose, guaranteed, just hurts so bad. It's tough. It must be how the Jets feel when they go up against the Dolphins. But I would go Travis Hunter. I like Pitts a ton in this matchup up against the Buccaneers. Pitts absolutely destroyed the Buccaneers last year twice. And the Buccaneers are a great matchup for tight ends. But when push comes to shove, I think you just have to go Travis Hunter. The upside of Pitts, like if Pitts has a great day, he probably scores 17 points. If Hunter has a great day up against the Panthers, he's scoring 25 plus points. So I would go with Travis Hunter. I think they're both. I think the only bad option here is Ollie Gordon. And I think Ollie Gordon's a great bench piece. And I do think Ollie Gordon could be very viable if the Dolphins look to kind of play how they did with Mostert and A-Chain, right? Maybe that does happen with A-Chain and Ollie Gordon, and both of them are start-worthy, and both of them are really good. The Dolphins' offense goes back to 2023. That's my hope. I hope the Dolphins actually look good. But in week one, I don't think you need to chance that with Ollie Gordon. I like Mason, but I think it would be between Hunter and Pitts, and I'm just going to go with Hunter just because I feel like he's going to get so many targets in this game. I don't think this is his smash spot, his coming out party where he goes bananas, but I could see it. If it's my team, I'm playing Travis Hunter. So that's the way I would lean in half PPR. Pearsall or Ridley, I would go Pearsall. Diggs or Swift, Diggs. Jacoby or Igbuka. Judy or Sutton. Jason. Myers, Tet, McLaurin. I have wide receiver 1. Chase, wide receiver 2. Hill, yeah, Tet. Josh Downs or Leggett, I'd go Josh Downs. Harvey, Calvin Ridley, Coleman, Jennings, Harvey, Calvin. Half PPR if CMC is out, Demont or Tank Bigsby, Demont. I've got Hubbard and A-Chain playing full PPRs. Brian Robinson, best on the bench this week? Yes. Tet McMillan or Dunze. Also, do I trade away CMC for Kyron? No. No, don't do that. Do not do that. Obviously, McCaffrey could get hurt today. He could fucking be out for the season. Knock on wood. I'm not trading my first round pick for Kyron Williams. Get Metcalf as a starter. Should I sit him for Diggs or Shakir now? Actually, I do have Diggs above Metcalf. So yeah, I'd play Diggs over Metcalf. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes. Got you, Quincy. CMC, A-Chain, Chase, T. Henderson, B-Rob, Ollie Gordon, Terry, Sutton, G-Will, Pearsall, Igbuka, Diggs. I mean, your team is stacked. I'm going A-Chain, Chase Brown, Terry, Sutton, Pearsall, and CMC. Typed in the chat. A-Chain, Chase, Terry, Sutton, Pearsall, CMC. For flex, Myers, Tet, or McLaurin. I'm going Tet. For wide receiver 2, Tet, Flowers, Pearsall. I would go Pearsall. Jets do good against wide receivers, I thought. Yeah, they do. Metcalf or Jerry Judy? Judy. Terry, Jambo, Diggs, Pearsall. Terry, Pearsall. Demont. Travis Hunter. Warren or Dobbins? Dobbins. For flex, Myers, Tet, McLaurin. I already answered this. Tet. Chuba, A-Chain, a good 1-2 punch. I agree. How long before Caleb takes over? I think it takes a couple weeks, maybe 6 games. Tua or Fields? Fields. Pearsall, Hubbard, Connor, or Metcalf? Man, that's tough. I would go Hubbard. Need 1 flex. Also in the league. I would go Diggs. Dobbins, ETN, or Bigsby? ETN and Dobbins. Thank you, no problem. 12-team league flex. Monty or Flowers, Monty. Lawrence or Goff? I would go Lawrence. And make sure you guys are in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord. It's free. There's a lot of people in there. Everyone has a fun time talking to each other. Get in there. Get on in there. Make sure you're in there. Lawrence or Goff? Lawrence. Myers, Tet McMillan. I already answered this as Tet. Got Metcalf as a starter. I would play Diggs over Metcalf. Henderson or Travis Hunter? Henderson. Hope Buck Irving gets 24 points. I think it's possible. McMillan or Dunze? I would go McMillan. Sitting Ridley against Denver. Should I flex Bigsby or Josh Downs? I mean, I would play Ridley over both those, but if you have to play one, it's Josh Downs. Jennings or Thornton? Jennings. Pick one. Ridley, Ingram, Pop, Douglas, Bateman. Ingram. I need Dave Montgomery to take away the touchdowns. I hope not. I have so much Gibbs. So much gives. Yeah, I think Connor's going to have a pretty big game, to be honest with you. Is Brees Hall going to fuck up the Steelers? I hope so. What's up, Rachel? CMC, good to go. Is that the report that he's going? Is that the most recent report? McCaffrey will play from Adam Schefter. Thank God that happened. Jaden Daniels or Kyler or Jaden Daniels. Ertz or Hunter Henry? Henry. Fields or Nix? Nix. Pollard, Jacoby, or Brees? Brees. Igbuka or Wilson? Half PPR. I would go Wilson. That's funny time. Half PPR, Njoku, Debo, or Dunze. I would go with Dunze. Mayor Lawrence, Lawrence. I like your line, Josh. Looks good. Adam Schefter said CMC is good to go. Yeah, I just saw that. And they said it again today. Christian McCaffrey was added to the injury report Thursday with a calf. He's good to go, said one source. He's good to go. What's up, Robert? How you doing, man? What's up, OG Paul D? How you doing? Non-PPR. Garrett Wilson, Waddle, Jawan Jennings. Oh, man. Non-PPR is always tough, in my opinion, because you're basically taking away any of the free points that you get from just catching the ball a million times, right? And that's why I like full PPR. Half PPR, it's just so much easier to figure out, which I guess might mean that standard might be the most skilled version of fantasy, based on my thoughts. Standard, I think, is the hardest, in my opinion. Gun to the head, I'm looking for yards and touchdowns. I think Garrett Wilson's going to get a lot of targets, decent amount of catches. Maybe he in full PPR or half PPR, it's Garrett Wilson. But in this, you're just kind of looking for a touchdown. Who could potentially score and get maybe like 80 yards? I would go Waddle. In standard, I would go Jalen Waddle. Because I'm just looking for that big catch, that big touchdown. I think Waddle can get that. I'm going Waddle. Thank you for the super chat, Ernesto. Pick 3, Kamara, Jacobs, Kyren, Chuba, Sutton, Ted McMillan, Jay Fields, or Flacco. Expect a lot of volume for Flacco. I like Flacco, but again, it's week 1. I find it so hard to get cute and play Flacco. I get why you would want to play Flacco over Fields, though. And something I will always tell you guys. If, Ernesto, you're saying Flacco, I'm expecting a lot of volume from Flacco. If I tell you to play Fields, which is my opinion, play Fields, just go with Flacco, right? Because you will be able to sleep so much better if you play Flacco, and Flacco, even if Flacco shits the bed, you wanted to play him, so you play him. That's kind of my opinion. I always go with my own gut, and I think that's what you should do personally. Now, if you just want to go with my heart, it's Fields. But if you feel very confident about a player, you should just play that player. That's kind of my opinion on things. But I would go Fields. I think Fields is going to run around a lot and kind of Mickey Mouse his way into a decent game. Pick 3, Kamara, Jacobs, Kyren, Chuba, Sutton, or Tet McMillan. Jeez, okay. So Sutton or Tet? That's a good question. I would go Tet just because I think they both have big upside. So if you want to be safe, you play Sutton. I'm going Tet. So it's going to be Tet, Fields. And then out of those 3, it's going to be Kamara, Jacobs, and Chuba. Kyron's going to be the odd man out. Not because I think Kyron's going to have a bad season. I actually love Kyren Williams this year. I think Kyren Williams is going to smash. So I think Kyron's going to have a big year, but I just like the matchup of Kamara. I think Kamara's going to get a lot of volume in this game because they're going to be down. Jacobs, I don't love the matchup, but you're never going to sit Jacobs. Chuba, I love the matchup. Kyren, I'm more so on. So I'd go Kamara, Jacobs, Chuba. I would go with Tet, but if you want to be safe, you play Sutton, and then I go Fields. So Kamara, Jacobs, Chuba. I go Tet, Sutton, a little bit safer, and then Fields. But again, go with your gut. If you want to play Flacco, please play Flacco. You will feel so much better at the end of the week. Matthew, thank you for the super chat. 12-team league, full point PPR. Pick 3, Jacoby, Tracy, Waddle, Adunze. Great question. Jacoby, then the Tet offensive. I know what that is. Spock. That's funny. I should say that more. I was a history major in college, and I'm a genius. I would go Jacoby. I'd go Rome, and I'd go Waddle. I think Tracy's the odd man out. I like Tracy a lot this year again, so it does kind of hurt me to tell you to sit Tracy, but this could be a Commanders game that is just belt to ass where the Commanders are winning by a million, and that would really suck for Tracy. So I would go ahead and play Myers, Waddle, and Adunze. I love Tracy though, so it does suck not to play him, but I think that's your smartest move. Jacoby feels ultra safe this week. Adunze feels good up against the Vikings defense that allowed the most points to wide receivers last season. And then Waddle's kind of just like the middleman who I feel more confident in than Tracy. So Jacoby, Waddle, Adunze. That would be my play there in a full PPR league. I think Tracy's going to get his because he's going to catch some dump offs, but we're going to go Waddle, Jacoby, Adunze. Thank you for the super chat. I love that question. Brandon McAnus, #1 kicker in the league. Dolphins time, baby. Yes, sir. Dolphins or Colts? Obviously the Dolphins, man. Come on. What do you think? If it was me giving my genuine opinion, it's really a toss-up. I mean, the Vegas lines have the Dolphins, I think, as 1 point underdogs, 1.5 point underdogs. It's a true toss-up. So I wouldn't take my opinion as like 100% fact. This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. I can't wait to eviscerate that man. Jalen Warren or Waddle? I'd go Waddle. Yeah, make sure you guys are hitting the like button on the stream, please. You got that tetanus shot. Matthew Golden or Tracy? I'd go Golden. I always bet on the Dolphins. Sutton, Harrison, or who's the other guy? I already bet on it. Sutton, Harrison, or Metcalf? Harrison. Matthew Golden or Tracy? Golden. Yeah, make sure you guys are joining the Discord. Do you think they will limit A-Chain today? Same with CMC. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my voice. I think it's very possible they're both limited, but you have to just play both of them. That's kind of my opinion on things, right? A-Chain could be limited, but A-Chain could be limited and catch one pass and run 90 yards and score a touchdown. Same thing with McCaffrey. I'm not sitting either of them. I'm playing them with as much confidence as you could have. So I'm not worried about it, but yeah, I think it's possible that they're limited. Full PPR, pick 3. What's up, Rutnips? How you doing, my man? Sutton, Judy, MHJ, Tee Higgins. Thanks, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. Dude, there was a fucking spider right next to me. I was about to turn into Peter Parker in about half a second if I didn't kill that bastard. All right. Got to play Higgins. Great spot up against the Browns. Great spot up against the Cleveland Browns. So you got to play him. See you, Brian. So you got to play him. You got to play T. Higgins. Then you got to go MHJ. Great matchup up against the Saints. I get, do you feel a little bit funny playing Marvin Harrison Jr.? Do you have like a pit deep down in your stomach that says, I have to play MHJ? My stomach hurts. Yeah, I get that. But you got to play him. Then Sutton or Judy? I like Judy in this scenarios. But I'm going Sutton. I feel way safer about Sutton than Judy. I think Judy could end up being a bust this year. Not because I think Judy's like bad, but like Tillman really did look good last year. And again, this isn't like, oh, Nick thinks Tillman's way better than Judy. I'm just saying I think it's possible. So it does kind of scare me. I just feel way better about Sutton being the alpha. MHJ is the alpha, obviously, in Arizona. And T. Higgins is a great 1B to Jamar Chase's 1A. So yeah, I'd go T. Higgins, Sutton, and MHJ. Love all of their matchups. Spock does know all that is a fact. Like and subscribe. Facts. DJ Moore, Egbuka, Henderson, full PPR, need upside. I would go DJ Moore, Egbuka, Henderson. I'm going DJ Moore. He has the best matchup for receiver. I have Worthy as my receiver too. Myers, Sutton, McLaurin, Warren. I'd go Sutton. I would go Sutton. Egbuka, RJ Harvey, Egbuka. See you, Brian. J.K. Dobbins or Aaron Jones? I'd go Aaron Jones. Are the drinks flowing? Not yet. I don't drink on live stream at 11 in the morning. Need to be locked in for your guys' questions. You guys have a lot of questions. I also hate all those things too, Josh. They scare the fuck out of me. Nikki, the man. Should I start Myers or Cam Ward in my Superflex league? Man. Jacoby Myers or Cam Ward? I always play the quarterback. I don't like Cam Ward's matchup, though, so I'd play Myers. That's funny, Michael. Ridley or Pearsall? Pearsall. Pearsall. Sutton or Henderson? Sutton. The recovery. Thank you for the super chat. What's up, NF? What's going on, man? Thank you for the super chat. Those huge ass chains that people have, like with the team logo on them, are pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. You have the Giants one. Egbuka, DK, Travis Hunter, the flex. Great question. Great question. Great question. I'm going Egbuka. I'm gonna go Egbuka. I get like it's gonna feel gross starting Metcalf week 1 and starting a rookie. I get that, but dude, going up against the Jets defense, like that could be a complete and utter unmitigated disaster where Metcalf legitimately completely shits the bed and does nothing. Like that is in the realm of possibilities. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but it's in the realm of possibilities. I'm going Metcalf. I mean, I'm sitting Metcalf, and I'm going to go Egbuka. I just really like Egbuka's matchup. I think he's going to get a lot of targets in week 1. There's a reason why everyone on the team talked him up so heavily in the summer, right? And I'm not talking about like, oh, there was like an offhanded comment from a coach. No, like multiple coaches were out there talking up Egbuka. Baker himself talked up Egbuka, even when not asked about Egbuka. And to me, that tells me that they believe heavily in him. Egbuka is rated the 12th best wide receiver by ESPN this week. I think that's a little bit egregiously hot. Could he finish there? Yes, I do think that. But look, top 12 when you have... See, for me, it's just hard to, right? I guess this isn't a family show. This is not a family show. I don't think this has ever been a family show. So when you have like Jamar Chase, Jefferson, Nico Collins, BTJ, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka, Lamb already played. McConkey already played. Those are guys... Mike Evans, you're going to have ranked ahead of Egbuka. You could argue for Tyreek, Adams. Like, so I'm not going all out and ranking him that high, but I get why they would. But yeah, I love Egbuka, the recovery. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Fins up, baby. Yes, sir. And this will never be a family show, sadly. This will never be a family show. There will be at least, I guess during the streams are pretty family friendly, I would say. The videos are not. The streams are much more family friendly. I don't think I curse that much in the streams. Who else did O'Marion Hampton hurt? I think O'Marion Hampton, I don't think he hurt anyone, did he? Did he take someone out in that game when I wasn't paying attention? You whack someone out? The Giants have package of plays intended for Jackson Dart on the field where he's the most comfortable. So they're just going to throw Jackson Dart in there? They're just going to throw Jackson Dart in there? That's going to be funny. This is a big time for week 1. Yes, sir. Sutton, Downs, Ricky, Ridley need to start one Sutton. He's ECR. He's wide receiver 29 in ECR. Egbuka. He is my wide receiver 25. Parsons will play, from what I read. Micah Parsons. Will play for the Packers tomorrow. There will be some limitations, but we'll see a good amount of Micah Parsons. All right. Has there been any other news? I'm just looking at Twitter real quick. Any other news here? Travis Hunter cut his dreads. That's a report. That's great to know. I'm glad we know that. Definitely impacts my opinion on him 100%. Without that cool hair, how is he going to play well? Right? Goff in or grab JJ to a Daniel Jones? No, play Goff. Play Goff. Play Goff. All right, real quick. We're going to answer everyone's questions, of course. Just going to shout out. What the fuck is the thing not on here? Shout out to Underdog real quick. Use promo code Notorious. You will get a free pick. You'll get a deposit bonus offer of up to $1,000 in bonus funds. And if you're a new customer using promo code Notorious, you play $5, you get $50 in bonus funds. It's very simple. On Thursday, someone used $5 to win $518 on a 3-pick play. So make sure you guys do check that out. Promo code Notorious, link in the video description. Shout out to Underdog. And it's very easy to use. And if you ever have questions about it, just ask in the Discord. I was helping someone out last night. So if you need help, I'm always here for you. Waddle, Hunter, or JMO? I would go Hunter and Waddle. Start one, Waddle, Metcalf, Hunter. I would go harder to tackle without the dreads. That's true. I would go Hunter. Treating Egbuka ahead of Evans. Oh, they do have Egbuka over Evans. Interesting. Have A-Chain starting. Need another running back. I would go Henderson. If you want to be safe, you play Monty. Drake May or Stroud, rest of the season, May. Choose 2. McLaurin, Tet, Egbuka. Tet and Egbuka for me. I would go Tet and Terry. Jaylen Warren or Tony Pollard. Start 1 flex and 1 wide receiver. Metcalf, I'd go Hendy and Waddle. Code Notorious facts. Will the Colts win? I don't think so. But they could. JJ, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate you. Marvin Harrison Jr. or Ricky Pearsall? I would go Marvin. Marvin has such a good matchup this week. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to smash this week. His matchup is too ridiculous for me to sit him. It is one of the best matchups on the week. So I would go with Marvin Harrison Jr. I get it feels risky. I get Marvin Harrison Jr. kicked you in the cojones last year. I get Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't feel like the smartest play every week, but dude, the matchup is too good. The matchup is too good. And sorry, I just spanked my mic, by the way, if that made a really loud noise. I apologize. I'm going Marv. I like the matchup too much to sit him. Love him. Love Marvin Harrison Jr. this week. Love him. I'll move my mic closer. Sorry if that made any noise. Marv. Full PPR, 1 flex. One flex, 1 wide receiver. Hendy and Waddle. Thank you for the super chat. Game day, boys. What's up, saucy boy? I appreciate you. I assume that's how you're supposed to say that. Boa? Saucy boa? Saucy boy? I don't know. Just try to read it how it's pronounced. Game day. Pollard, Metcalf, Golden Scar, or Jacoby. Hope everyone wins today. Yes, sir. Notorious gang. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Pollard, Metcalf, Golden Scar, or Jacoby. Only one. Gun to the head. Dude, I got to move Jacoby Myers up my rankings. I'm going to move him up. It's Jacoby Myers. It is Jacoby Myers. I'm going to update the rankings with quick haste. It's Jacoby Myers. It is Jacoby Myers. So I'm going Jacoby. So safe. Great matchup. Way safer than any of those other guys. Pollard, I like Pollard. He is a tough matchup. I love Metcalf. He is a bad matchup. I love Golden Scar. I don't love his matchup. I love Jacoby's matchup. There is no Christian Gonzalez. And Christian Gonzalez was going to be his matchup. That's going to be real tough. That's going to be real tough. Chris Rodriguez from the Commanders is a healthy and active. By God, that's Bill's music. It's going to be JCM season. Maybe it's JCM season. We're gonna see. I'm not playing JCM week 1, but it could be a season. Could be. But yeah, I'm going Jacoby. I feel really good about Jacoby against the Raiders. I mean, against the Patriots. Sean Howard, Egbuka, or MHJ? It's gotta be MHJ. Darnell Mooney is inactive, so we're gonna have to update the rankings because a bunch of guys are gonna be marked inactive, and I'll just update them after that. But yeah, it would be MHJ. The matchup is too good. The matchup is way too good for you to sit him. Again, I get playing Marvin Harrison Jr. feels gross. I get Marvin Harrison Jr. kind of fucked you over last year. I get there's all those worries, but it's MHJ. It is Marvin Harrison Jr. Go MHJ. Go MHJ. Kyler Murray, Drake May, or Bryce Young. I would go Kyler. The Finns won't have to worry about long throws. They can play up. They're going to run the ball, though, a lot. My least, the other team, the JT is going to run a lot. My least favorite team I drafted is in League One. I want to see Genty go fucking bonkers. I like my team in that league. Yeah, I'm addicted to the Retro Bowl. I used to play Retro Bowl all the time on my phone. That's fair. Oh, you got JD, you got Jane Daniels, so go with McLaurin. I'm hopeful for the Raiders this year. I am too. Sutton, JSN, or Connor Standard League, I'd go Connor. The Raiders. Do you think RJ Harvey will have a big upside this season? Yes. Yes, I do. Good morning. Aaron Jones, Diggs, Olave, Adunze. I would go Aaron Jones, Diggs, Olave, Adunze. I would go. Good question. I go Adunze. I go Diggs. McCaffrey. No, play McCaffrey. Play McCaffrey. McCaffrey's gonna play. You play him. You gotta go with him. That's funny, Brady. I think Jane Daniels will succeed better this season. I agree. Jawan Jennings or Khalil Shakir Jennings. Thank you, Jeff. My name Jeff. You also have Jacoby. Who else do you have, Bow? Aaron Jones or Jameson Williams? Aaron Jones, JMO. Ford or Pittman? Pittman. Actually, I'd go Ford. Cortland Sutton or T. Higgins? T. Higgins. JMO or Judy? Judy. How do you feel about Kyler this week? No, play Kyler. Jane Daniels or Kyler? Jane Daniels. What's up, Handover? Is it a miracle the Buffalo Bills get home court today, dude? I don't think it's a miracle. Jay Ford or Pittman? Ford. Tet, DJ Moore, Egbuka. Need a nuke game. Need a nuke? Go with DJ Moore. K9, Aaron Jones or Jacoby Myers. I would go Kenneth Walker. Tyler Tracy or Egbuka. Yes, sir. What's up, Paulie? CMC, Neighbors, Brown, Hill, Tet, Adams, Warren, Young. Dude, my phone is fucking blowing up. What is happening? Darnell Mooney out. Chris Godwin out. Andrew Thomas, left tackle for the Giants, out. All right, so I guess we'll just wait. We'll probably wait till like 12 to update the rankings fully. That's what I'm going to do, just to make sure we get all the inactives. Sorry, I didn't answer that. No question. Yeah, I like that team a lot. That's a great team. J.K. Dobbins, Stephon Diggs, or Debo. Diggs. Downs or Golden? Matt Gay or Cam Little? Matt Gay. That's so funny. Garrett Wilson or Pearsall? Yeah, don't hurt yourself taking a poop, you know. Could hurt you. All right. I'm getting so many fucking text messages. More about Christian McCaffrey. I'm just going to read this. Alan Lazard inactive. 49ers star. Okay. I don't know. I'm not fucking reading a whole article. They'll post it if it's important. Ricky Rolex or Tet. Pearsall over Garrett Wilson. Loveland or Strange? Whoop whoop. I'd go I'd go Loveland. Igbuka or Jones? Igbuka. Which two do I start? Aaron Jones. I'm gonna sit up. Sorry, I'm like low down. I'm chilling out because we've been streaming for an hour. We got another hour and a half to go. Aaron Jones, Travion Henderson, Tyrone Tracy. Let's go Hendo. Good morning. Good morning to you as well, man. T-Law. Arizona defense or Detroit, Arizona? Lamb Evans. Okay. Yeah, go with. Did I move Jacoby over Garrett Wilson? No, I didn't. I'd still go with Garrett Wilson, but the safest option is Jacoby. You know what? We're gonna move Jacoby up even more. I'm gonna move him ahead of Garrett Wilson. Fuck it. We're gonna go with Jacoby. Chubb will be a bell cow. I hope so. I hope so. All through the day. DK, Olave, or Thornton? DK. And yeah, I saw that rise. Tet, Pearsall, Buka. I'd go Tet and Pearsall. Ridley or Pearsall? Pearsall. Start one. It would be Sutton. Dobbins or Warren? Warren. Nope, Dobbins. You're the best. Thank you. I appreciate that. CMC good to go. Chris Rodriguez healthy scratch. All right, let's pull up. I have something I have to pull up. What's this? Who's calling my phone? Who's calling that shit? Just gotta answer our Patreon questions. Real quick. All right. Back to the questions. Isaac, thank you for the super chat. Trey Benson or Theo Johnson, half PPR for the running backs, 1.5 for the tight end. I would go Theo Johnson in this scenario. I don't trust Trey Benson really at all, if I'm being honest with you. I think Trey Benson is going to potentially get more work than last year, but I wouldn't bet on it. So I would go Theo Johnson just because you're getting the extra 1.5 PPR for the tight end. If Theo Johnson just catches like 3 passes, which I think is very possible, he'll probably outscore Trey Benson just from the 3 catches alone. So I would go with Theo Johnson. It's tough because I don't really love either of these guys, but Theo Johnson should be relatively involved. So assuming he's playing, I'd go Theo Johnson. Gabriel, thank you for the super chat. Just drop your question down below. Sometimes you might have typed something in there and it just blocked it. Sometimes that happens because YouTube is just like that. I don't control the monetization. So it's just kind of how, or I don't control the what it blocks. YouTube just does it. So just leave your question unless you already asked it before. You did. Start 2. Morag, Buka, Sutton, Myers, Ridley. Sorry, I thought maybe you typed it in, and if you ever include any of like the special characters or anything, or if you type like the and symbol and stuff, YouTube just blocks it sometimes. They are very weird with the shit that they block. Like people can say some outrageous stuff in the chat and it doesn't block it, but it will block that. It's just funny. More Egbuka, Sutton, Myers, Ridley. Great question, man. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that I love this week. 4 guys that I trust heavily this week. So that's going to be tough. So DJ Moore has too good of a matchup to be sat, in my opinion. DJ Moore has one of, if not the easiest matchups on the week up against the Vikings. The Vikings pass defense is bad against wide receivers. It is dreadful. So I think Moore is going to eat. So I'm going DJ Moore. Then it's kind of a toss-up between Sutton, Egbuka, Myers. I would lean with Sutton, though, personally. I think Sutton's going to have a pretty big game up against the Titans. He's going to be very involved in the offense and should see a bunch of targets. So I feel very good about Sutton. So I'd go Sutton and DJ Moore. IPPO, thank you for the super chat. Sutton, T-Mac, Judy. You can only start 1 in half PPR. You can only start one. Sutton, Judy, Sutton. Sutton, Judy, T-Mac. I have T-Mac 17, Sutton 20, Judy 28. If you want to be as safe as possible, the answer is Sutton. Why is Sutton more safe than T-Mac? For one, he's not a rookie. I love his matchup just like I love T-Mac's matchup. Sutton just feels safer, right? I don't really see a scenario where this game ends and Sutton absolutely fucks you over to a point where you're like so mad that you played him. Judy, great matchup, but Judy also, there's kind of some risk with him. So for me, the answer is T-Mac. I think the upside is similar with Sutton. Something is just telling me that T-Mac's going to come out the gate and score multiple touchdowns. Something's telling me that he's going to smack the Jaguars defense in the mouth in Duval and have a huge game. If you want to be as safe as possible, they both have similar upside. You can go Sutton, but I'm going with T-Mac. Again, I just heavily believe in the matchup here, and I just believe so heavily in the player. When they don't have Coker, when they don't have Adam Thielen, it's just going to be the T-Mac show over there. It's going to be the T-Mac show. So I'm going T-Mac personally. But again, if you want to be as safe as possible, you can go Sutton, and I'm not going to argue with you on that. What do you think is going to be the most boring game? The Jets versus Steelers. Garrett Wilson, RJ Harvey, or Henderson? Henderson. Ali, Sharbs, Leggett, Sampson. Deep flex, Leggett. Doing an injury report segment this season? Yeah, we've already talked about basically all the injuries for today. If there's any more that come out, I'll tell you. But as of right now, and I'm going to answer the super chat question, Jimmy Horn is out, which means nothing for fantasy. Nick Chubb expected to serve as the bell cow. Alan Lazard out. Andrew Thomas out. Darnell Mooney out. Chris Godwin targeting a return week 5. Left tackle Will Campbell for the Patriots in. Chris Rodriguez out. Christian McCaffrey in. That is the report. More stuff will come out at 12. Then we'll do another report at 12. And then there shouldn't be anything else that comes out that would be talked about. So after that, I'm going to update all my rankings on Patreon. I'm just going to adjust them and then put them on Patreon so that anyone that's a Patreon member can see it. So thank you for the super chat. Cooler Hand, I appreciate you. PPR, T-Law, Bijan, Hampton, BTJ, Kittle, Egbuka, loss worthy, and have Golden to plug in. You think I'll be okay for the rest of the season? Yes. Now, Worthy is not guaranteed to be out for the rest of the season. I've read some reports that say like 3 to 4 weeks. He's looking at like multiple different doctors, so they're going to get a bunch of opinions. Right? They're the Chiefs. They're going to seek as many opinions as possible to try to figure out what to do. Does he need surgery? Does he not need surgery? Do they rest it? Do they put it in like a sling? Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to give you the exact same, to give you like this crazy breakdown of exactly how it works because I don't know for sure, right? I'm just reading stuff off of Twitter from people that I trust that are doctors on Twitter that I believe. I'm going to feel like so I don't have like a distinct opinion like, oh my gosh, Worthy's 100% coming back or he's 100% out for the season. I would feel very good about your team though. Bijan, Hampton, BTJ, Kittle, Egbuka is straight up smash. All of those guys are top end players for the season, and Golden should be a very reliable flex. So I feel very good about your team. Do I love T-Law? No, but hopefully he plays better, and hopefully these fucking bots stop joining this goddamn stream. I can't stand the bots, honestly. I have no idea what they get out of doing what they do, right? Who the fuck cares? Like who's gonna click on a random link that you put in a stream? Like I hope none of you guys ever click on it. If you ever wanted to find like a stream, you can find it much easier than clicking on some random link in my chat. So sorry for ranting about that. It's just kind of annoying, but it's not anyone's fault, obviously. Yeah, I like your team a lot. I feel very good about your team. I would not really change anything. And if every time I report a bot, it kills my chat and I have to refresh the page. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why it works like that. I removed the one of them. I would go and feel pretty good about that, though. If Worthy can come back, though, your team is in even better shape. If he doesn't come back, you're still feeling good. So I like your team a lot. Reggie, Guillotine League, Tillman or Samson. I would go Tillman. I don't think, look, I think both of them are risky, but I could see Tillman putting up roughly 1,000 points. And I don't think Samson can. So that is why I would go that way. I think Samson is probably going to get a decent amount of touches, but I don't think, dude, I just don't think I could play Samson in week 1. I think Ford's going to be the guy. I think Tillman could get 8+ targets in this game. Again, am I going to guarantee he does that? No, but I think he could. So I'm going to go Tillman. I just don't feel good about Samson week 1. I really don't. Monty or Pittman in the flex. Jose, thank you for the super chat. I would go Montgomery personally. Pittman, I think, could have a big game, but Montgomery, you just know what's going to happen. He has the opportunity to score multiple touchdowns in any given game. Look, I don't love Montgomery this year because I think Gibbs is going to feast. I don't think Montgomery's having a huge game, but he can in any given matchup. So Pittman, he could be the wide receiver 2, could be the wide receiver 1, might be like the 4th look in this offense if Tyler Warren really blows up. So I think Montgomery is just 9,000 times safer. And even up against the Packers in a bad matchup, he could find the end zone multiple times because that's just who he is. So I would go with Montgomery. Let's go. What's up, OSCS Lion Soul 79? Thank you for the super chat. I'm going to answer your question in roughly half of a second. To feel comfortable. So I'm just answering a Patreon question. Okay. Make sure you guys are in the Discord, by the way. I'll copy paste the Discord link in a little bit so I can get you guys can join up. I'm gonna pin it actually. There we go. And pin it. All right, let's go. I know May is ranked higher than Stroud, but my heart is telling me to go Stroud. What do you think? I have high hopes for my team, Houston Texans. What I will tell you is if you are sitting there right now and, I have May ranked higher and you want to play Stroud, what you do is you play CJ Stroud. Why? Because you will feel so much better going to sleep at night. If I told you to start May and May shits the bed and Stroud goes crazy, you are going to be so mad because you went against your own personal feeling. So what I always tell you guys is I will give you the answer, but if you don't like my answer, deep down you're like, you know what? I really want to play this guy. Just play that guy because it will be so much easier for you to sleep at night tonight if you play Stroud. Because even if Stroud doesn't play as well as May, you made that decision, right? It wasn't me. You will feel so much better because you were the person that ultimately did that. So that would be my opinion, is to go with your gut. So if it's my team, I'm playing Drake May. I like Drake May's matchup against the Raiders. I think Drake May is going to run a bunch. I think Drake May is a very safe quarterback in week number 1. But you want to play Stroud, so you're going to play Stroud because, again, you will sleep significantly better with the guy you want in your lineup in. So that's my opinion on things. Go ahead and go with CJ Stroud. Again, if you're just going strictly off of what I want, it's May, but go with your bet. Go with your guy. Go with your gut. You will always feel better about that. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, again, you will always feel better if you make your own decision. Like if you believe with your gut, if you believe deep down with your gut, I need to play this guy, then you're always going to feel better that you did it. That's my opinion. Thank you for the super chat. JB, thank you. A lot of fishermen in the chat. Respect. I haven't gone fishing in a while. I love fishing. The last time I went fishing was like when I was in actually fishing on a boat was when I was in college, freshman year of college. I love fishing. That shit is so fun. I didn't catch anything though. They weren't liking me that day. Marvin Harrison or Zay Flowers in the flex. Marvin Harrison Jr. You have to play Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. is in for a huge game. The matchup is cupcake. The matchup is as easy as it gets. I'm going Marvin Harrison Jr. That is my bet. That Marvin Harrison Jr. is a must start in my opinion this week. I get he screwed you last season. I get he didn't play great last season. I get there are a million reasons to worry about Marvin Harrison Jr., but when push comes to shove, Marvin Harrison Jr. will be in your lineup. He just has to be. He simply has to be. Maserati Marv up against the Saints. Great matchup for him. I think he smashes. Average bull, non-PPR, Pittman, Olave, Ridley, or Flowers. I would go Flowers. So in non-PPR, a lot of what I think about is it's all just yards and touchdowns. I don't give a fuck how many targets you get. Why don't I care about that? Because frankly, it doesn't matter. You don't get any points for the receptions. All that matters is the yards. Flowers up against the Bills could get a 90-yard bomb, an 80-yard bomb. He could drop 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, right? This could be a huge game for him. It's the highest projected point total on the week. So Flowers would be the most likely of those guys to score. So I will go with him. I don't trust Olave at all. Olave scares me. I'm going with Flowers. I feel very good about Flowers in your scenario. Out of those guys, he feels like the smartest bet. If Ridley wasn't going up against the Broncos, it would be Ridley, but he is going up against the Broncos, so it's Flowers in the highest scoring game environment of the week. So I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, I'm going Flowers. And I don't know if I answered that question before. I'm going to be honest with you. Shaheed or Cup? Cup. My projection for Bo Nix, I got him as a top 8 quarterback this week. Notorious Soldier. Salute. Tribal Chief. Start 2. Terry, Flowers, Hunter, Tillman. I would go ahead and play. Oh, that's a good question. I would go. Oh man, you gotta play Terry. I'm worried about Terry in week 1 because he's coming off of the contract holdout we saw last year. CeeDee Lamb absolutely shit the bed on a contract holdout, but this could be a different scenario. And I wouldn't guarantee that he would shit the bed. So I would go Terry. Then Hunter, Tillman, Flowers. I would go Hunter. Flowers, again, I think he's fine. I think he could have a big game, but I just feel a little bit better about Hunter's matchup personally. So I would go with Hunter. Tillman just wouldn't be in consideration for you in week 1 just because it's so much more of a guess compared to the other 3. Like in the scenario we were talking about earlier where it was Tillman versus Dylan Sampson, it's a deeper league question, right? Whereas this, you have 4 guys that you could start any, or you have 3 guys you could start any given week. So why even, bother discussing Tillman? It's just Tillman could outscore them, obviously, but yeah, that would be my opinion. I would go Terry and I would go Hunter. Terry and Hunter. Terry and Hunter. You went on a charter and everyone around me got sick and gave me their beer. I caught a bunch of ling cod and gave them to the people as they left the boats. They could have said they caught something. That's awesome. What's up, Nick? Eckler, Pollard, Garrett Wilson. Great question. Great question. All right. Let's go ahead. Eckler, Pollard, Wilson. Let's go. I'm not playing Eckler. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to play Eckler out of these guys. I think Eckler is going to be fine. I might have to bump Eckler up the rankings slightly. Now, he's already at running back 30. Like, that feels fair. I don't like Pollard's matchup, to be honest, but I think Pollard's going to be fine. I would go, if it's my team, I'm playing Garrett Wilson just because, again, the matchup isn't great, but I think Garrett Wilson's just going to get a lot of volume, and that's going to lead to him having a halfway decent game. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and play Wilson just because of the volume he should receive, Eric. That would be my opinion on things. Damn, Brian, you fucking got that guy with due haste, with instant haste. I was clicking the ban button, get banned, and you got him instantly. You got him. So I would go Wilson just because I feel the most confident about his volume. Jaylen Warren or RJ Harvey, Bryant, great question. This is a true toss-up, in my opinion. I have Harvey ranked 1 spot or 2 spots ahead of Warren. I think Warren is 9,000 times safer than Harvey. And what I mean by that is I think Warren's definitely getting 10 points. I could see Harvey shitting the bed because they give a lot of touches to J.K. Dobbins and Harvey goes ghost. But ultimately, I would go ahead and play RJ Harvey. I just like the upside more. Like Warren just kind of feels like a stuck in the mud play. And again, he's fine. I've answered Warren to be a start for a decent amount of people. I don't think he's a bad start, but for me, it would just have to be Harvey. He just has more upside. So I'd feel better about going Harvey. But again, if you want to be as safe as possible, just throw Warren in there. Good morning. Good morning, Blitzkrieg. I need a flex upside thanks to Pickens. Half PPR. Tyrone Tracy, Montgomery, Pearsall. Thank you and good luck. Thank you. It's got and the bots always come out the heaviest early on in the season. Like right now, this week, next week, the first couple of weeks, and then they typically die out. Now there still will be bots, but at a significantly lower rate. Whereas today, they're firing at maximum capacity straight at us. So we will go ahead and go Ricky. Ricky has a lot of upside in this matchup for him. I think that could be a very high scoring game. Tyrone Tracy and Montgomery feel more like floor plays, in my opinion, where you're just kind of taking the safe way out. You get Montgomery, you know what he's going to do. He'll be fine. Ricky feels like the high upside option, right? You got fucked over by Pickens. I didn't really expect Pickens to have that great of a game. I would have expected him to put up more points than he put up in that matchup, though. So I would go Ricky Pearsall. I just think Ricky has the upside of scoring 25 plus points. And with how much they've talked up Gibbs, I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening for Tracy without his left tackle. So I would go with slick Ricky Pearsall for you. That would be my answer to the equation, would be Ricky Pearsall. I like Ricky Pearsall a lot. So I'm going Ricky. I'm going with Ricky. Thank you. Who do you start? Eric, Tracy or Dunze? It would be a Dunze. Look, I get why people like Tracy. Again, I like Tracy a lot this season. I am very, 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 very worried about him potentially just shitting the bed. And not to like massive proportions, right? Where he completely screws the pooch. He plays so bad that it's laughable. But I do think that in terms of matchup, it's not the best, and the game script probably won't be the best. So I think you're probably just better off going ahead and playing a Dunze. A Dunze has one of the best matchups on the week. So I would lean with a Dunze. I love the matchup against the Vikings. I think he's going to smash in that spot. Diggs, Garrett Wilson, or JMO, I would go ahead and play. I would play Diggs. Boswell or Little at kicker. Look, I'm not the smartest of kicker analysts. Like in terms of the things I know, I feel like my confidence level I feel like I'm best at predicting defenses, running back, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. I feel very good about that. Kicker is much more random, in my opinion. Obviously, every position's random. Guys you think are going to be great, shit the bed all the time. Guys you think suck ass, go crazy all the time. But kicker, I feel like, is the hardest position to predict, in my opinion. I would lean Boswell. Harrison Jr. or Judy? Harrison. I miss the sexy bots, Tyron. You and me both, brother. Kyler Murray or Drake May? Kyler. I think Ricky picks up the slack. I agree with you. Tracy, Pollard, Mason, Debo, or JMO? I would go Pollard. Pearsall, Ridley, Olave. Pearsall. Do I start DK over Hendy or Wild today? No. Rico Dowdle or Austin Eckler? I would go Eckler. I'm starting MHJ and Sutton in my non-PPR leagues, but I have Pearsall on my team and I'm tempted to start him this week. No, I would keep who you got in a standard league. Sit one, full PPR. Ramondre Stevenson, Josh Downs, or Khalil Shakir. Oh, sit one. I'm sitting Stevenson. Shane Howard, my goat. Who to flex, goat? Rome Henderson, DK. Great question. For me, it's between Henderson and Rome. It's kind of just based on your personal risk tolerance. That would be my opinion. Would be between Rome or Henderson. And I would lean. I would lean with Henderson. I love Rome this week, but I just feel a little bit better about Henderson's safety. It is close though between them, but I would go Henderson. I would go Henderson. That would be my lean. It's close though. Yeah, Henderson for me. I think both of them are great, but I'm leaning Henderson. DK is just kind of out of the equation because his matchup just really, really, really isn't that good. And that's a big concern of mine. So he would be the odd man out in this scenario. So let's go with Henderson. Eric, Hunter, Flowers, or Eckler? I'm going Hunter. I think Metcalf. I think Eckler is going to be fine, but Eckler again is another one of those where you're kind of just waving the flag, right? You're being like, all right, I'm going to score 10 fantasy points, basically, is what you're saying when you do that, right? You're like, I'm going to get 10 fantasy points. Fucking sue me. I'm getting those 10 points. Whereas Flowers could be like 20 points. So could Hunter. I'm going with Hunter. I like the matchup for Hunter. Do I feel 100% in all over Hunter? No. But that would be my lean with Hunter. I feel pretty good about Hunter compared to that other group. So for me, it would be Hunter pretty clearly over those guys. Williams or Young at quarterback? I would go with Young, Shakir, Pearsall, or Golden at the flex. Great question. So I'm going Young over Caleb. Young proved much more last season to me than Caleb did. Does that mean that Caleb can't beat out Young for the season long? Obviously he can. I think that Bryce Young, I think Caleb Williams is going to be great with Ben Johnson. I believe in Caleb Williams. I don't think Caleb Williams is a bust like a lot of people do. But what I will tell you is I do have my reservations with the team as a whole. I feel a little bit nervous compared to Bryce Young. Bryce Young, towards the end of last season, lit the league on fire. They were very pass heavy. They bring in Tet McMillan. They have solid weapons for him. I think that Young is the much better bet for week one. Then Shakir, Pearsall, or Golden, it's Pearsall. Juwan Jennings, I think, is going to be fine, but Juwan Jennings is coming off of a relatively serious injury. Wait, what did I just say? Not a relatively serious injury, but he's coming off of an injury / a holdout. So I just don't think that is necessarily the best scenario to be in. So for that reason, I think the smartest move is just to go with Pearsall. I think Pearsall is going to have a pretty big game in week number one. His first game out, I believe in him. So that would be my lean, would be with him. So we're going to go Pearsall, and we are going to go with Pearsall as well as Bryce Young. That's who I feel the best with. Wow, thank you. To be clear, running backs are points per carry, 0.25, bonus or 40-yard touchdown. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so is there any Bo Rogers, is there any points for receivers? Like, do receivers get any bonuses or anything? But if you're getting 0.25 per carry, I think you just have to play Henderson. That would be my lean there, would just to play Henderson in that scenario. I mean, I don't love point per carry leagues. I think they kind of very much muddy the water of things. But yeah, I agree with that take. I would definitely go with Henderson in that scenario. Bonus for long touchdowns. Okay. I mean, long touchdown. I don't really see Garrett Wilson or Jacoby Myers getting a long touchdown, frankly. So I would lean with who you got, I'm going to go ahead and go with Henderson as the RB2. I think that makes the most sense. Just because he's going to get that solid base of touches. He's going to catch some passes as well out of the backfield. I feel very good about that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep Henderson in. That would be my best bet there. But I also got Brian Thomas. I'd be starting both. That's fine. Look, my opinion on starting two guys on the same team. If you think the offense, you're be starting BTJ. Oh, for the flex. Okay. For the flex. Okay. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. It's going to be Jacoby Myers for the flex. And none of those guys, no JK, no Mason, no Harvey, are going to be able to overtake Henderson. So, yeah, it's going to be Jacoby and it's going to be Henderson. I love Jacoby Myers this week. I've gotten much higher on him. Over the week, I was a little bit more pessimistic, and deep down, I am still a little bit worried deep down potentially for what could happen. But at the end of the day, I think that when push comes to shove, at the end of the day, you just got to go with Jacoby Myers. The matchup is really good. No Christian Gonzalez. I feel very good about him. So I'm going to go ahead and say Jacoby and Henderson would be my answer. The fuck, I can't spell. I'm trying to put my DK lineups in. I don't know how to type. I do not know how to type. All right. So that would be my answer there. It would be keep Henderson in. I don't like any of those other guys above him, and then play Jacoby Myers. So yeah, my opinion is if I'm starting two players on the same team offensively, I need to feel very confident about that offense. And what offense do I feel pretty confident about week one? It would be the Jaguars. So playing Brian Thomas as well as him on the same team feels smartest to me. Now, if you don't want to play two guys on the same team, just play Flowers, but I'm sticking with my gut. Travis Hunter or Jaylen Warren, I'm going Travis Hunter. Over Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren, again, to me, just feels like the play where you start waving the white flag, right? Where you're like, F it. He's going to get me 10 points, and I'm going to accept it. I'm going to feel fine about it, but I don't love it. That's kind of how I feel that play kind of is. You're just acknowledging, hey, I'm going to get 10 points. It is what it is. Whereas if you were to play Hunter, sure, the range of outcomes might not be as safe. There might be a scenario where Hunter absolutely shits the bed, which I don't think will be the case with Warren. But I think the upside severely outweighs the risk here. So my best bet there would be to lean with Travis Hunter. I feel very good about Travis Hunter. What the hell did I just do? Oh, that's why. I was about to say. I just put in the lineup completely wrong. So yeah, my lean would be with Travis Hunter very clearly over Jaylen Warren. My concerns are for garbage time rushing touchdowns for the Broncos running backs. Yeah, sure, but again, in your kind of format, I just think Jacoby Myers is much safer. Bears cornerbacks are going to shut down JJ last time. They could shut down JJ, but you're not going to sit Justin Jefferson, right? It's week one. You cannot sit, you can't overthink things. You can't sit a guy like Justin Jefferson. Ridley, Downs, or Bill, I would go Ridley. Travis Hunter, Breece Hall, or Waddle, half PPR. I would go with Breece Hall. Arizona defense, pick 6 today, possible. Egbuka or Jacoby, Egbuka, Brandon O'Reilly, Ridley or Henderson, also Jacoby Myers or Egbuka, great question. Ridley, to me, I just answered Ridley to a question. Ridley is a last-ditch effort type of play where I don't feel good about the other players you're asking about. So I will just go with Ridley because Ridley is very good, right? And I think Ridley could beat out a matchup like the one he has today. Now, am I saying that that's a guarantee that he does that? No, but I think he definitely could do that. So my lean would be away from Ridley in your scenario because I feel good about Travion Henderson in his first ever game up against the up against the Raiders. So I would go with him. And then for Jacoby Myers versus Egbuka, I have, let's see, I moved the rankings around. I'm going to update them on Patreon in a few seconds so that you guys can have those. I'm just putting in all my DFS lineups first. Let's see here. Egbuka versus Jacoby. Egbuka, wide receiver 25. Jacoby Myers is my wide receiver 22. So I'm going Jacoby. Jacoby, and I'm going Henderson. I feel good about both Jacoby and Egbuka, but I would go Jacoby and I'd go Henderson. Thank you for the super chat. PG as well. Kyle Pitts or Tyler Warren. I'm going to go Tyler Warren just because I feel very confident that he is going to be the focal point of the offense of the Colts. Besides Jonathan Taylor, I think he is going to see a boatload of touches in this game. I think he's going to get fed heavily. If you want to be a little bit safer, you go Pitts. Pitts has a great matchup as well. The Dolphins, not the best at stopping the tight ends. We've seen that roughly 10,000 times in the past. So I feel good about Tyler Warren. Go with Tyler Warren. That would be my lean there. Tet or Henderson? Tet. What's up, Nick? How you doing, Veronica? Egbuka or Adunze? I would go Egbuka. For Dobbins, Ridley, Hunter. How's everyone doing today? We are 45 minutes away from kickoff. MHJ, Egbuka, Sutton, MHJ. MHJ is such a good matchup. Ashley, Purdy or JJ McCarthy? I also have Justin Jefferson. Go Purdy. I like JJ McCarthy because I like what I have seen out of head coach Kevin O'Connell. But I think in week one, it's getting a little bit cute playing JJ McCarthy over Purdy when Purdy has a relatively good matchup. Like, this isn't a disaster matchup for Purdy. So, do you still have podcasts? I need to upload them to. I do have podcasts. It's linked in the description. I gotta just upload the videos on there. I always forget to. I'm sorry. Ridley, I am basically everything that I do is just on YouTube, and I do have a podcast feed. I just have to upload them onto there. I just always forget, but I'll do it next week. Just Notorious Fantasy on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Ridley or Debo? Debo. I'm nervous too. I'm kicking my feet with excitement. Week one always gets me a little bit nervous. Yeah, I use Twitter a lot. Tracy over Harvey. I'm always on Twitter. I am a Twitter fiend. It's just so addicting because there's so much shit on Twitter, so much information flowing at all times. All right. Start two. Calvin Ridley, Adunze. I go Adunze and Olave. If I package Pacheco and Hollywood for an RB, who should I try and get? Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think anyone wants Pacheco right now. You could just try to get any mid-range running back too. Hubbard or McMillan? Hubbard. Reason for Harrison Jr. over Judy, won't Cleveland lose? My thought about choosing Harrison over Judy is the Saints defense isn't very good. For one, the Saints defense is not very good, so this should be a wet dream coming out matchup for him. Now, for Judy on paper is the number one receiver there in Cleveland. I have my reservations on truly believing that he is the clear number one receiver there. David Njoku has an excellent matchup, and Cedric Tillman last year, at least to me, looked like he could become the wide receiver one on the team. So there's just a lot more questions with Judy than there is with Harrison. Harrison feels significantly safer in a great matchup up against the Saints. I think this is going to be his best game of his NFL career. And as long as Kyler isn't completely sick, fucking throwing up on the ground, then I think this is in to be a huge matchup. A huge matchup for MHJ. So that's why I lean Marvin Harrison Jr. Thank you, Brownstone. Hey, there, man. Josh Downs or Rome Odunze. I would go with Rome. Yo, Goff or JJ? Goff. I think the Patriots game is here on CBS. That's nice. The Dolphins games are literally never on TV. That's why I have Sunday ticket. That's why they screw me over here in New Jersey. Thank you, Veronica, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you have a question, leave it in chat. I appreciate you. Thank you to everyone that's watching today's stream. It's crazy. Just how many people watch nowadays. Like back in the day, I say this all the time. I used to fire up. There'd be like 5 people watching. Be like me, my phone, Spock, my dad, and a few other people. But now it's a crazy amount of you guys. So Kyler is puking. Everyone smash the like button and subscribe. Kyler Murray is really sick. My sources are telling me he's puking a lot. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Are you serious, Ben? That's not good. That's not good. I'm still believing in Kyler, though. I'm still going to believe in him. I think this is going to be Jordan Game 6, baby. Sutton, Waddle, Egbuka, RJ Harvey. PPR. I'm going Sutton. Zay Flowers or Marvin Harrison Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr. But if anyone would know what the hell is happening with the Cardinals, it would be Ben. If anyone was to have some insider info, it would be him. I'm still playing Kyler and Harrison today. If it doesn't work, it's whatever. I mean, the matchup is too good for me to resist playing him. So I hope he plays good. But again, I guess you never know, right? I guess you never know. Full PPR. Pollard or Egbuka. Pearsall, Jennings. That's funny that I even mentioned that, Ben, because it's funny if he actually is. Pearsall, Jennings, Golden, J-Mo. I'd go Pearsall and J-Mo. Pollard, Egbuka, Tet, MHJ. MHJ, Tet. Swift or Dobbins, Swift. Tet or Hendy, Tet. Pearsall, I already answered that one. Should I flex Trey McBride or put Pearsall or Egbuka in the flex? I don't like playing 2 tight ends, so I would go Pearsall. Should I flex Trey McBride or put Pearsall or Egbuka in the flex? Haven't been able to trade McBride yet. Yeah, just play Pearsall. With Rodriguez out, does Bill get a bump? Yes. But look, week 1, you don't need to get cute and play Bill. You do not need to get cute and play him. Can he have a good game? Yes. Should he have a good game? Potentially. But you don't need to get cute in week number 1. Thank you. I appreciate that. DK, Pollard, Diggs, or Ford? Diggs. Ford, Pearsall, or McBride? I was your only follower. I appreciate that, Alan. Actually, I was my own first follower because I used my other YouTube account to follow myself. Boost the numbers up. I think everyone that's ever made a YouTube video has done that, where you make a burner account, subscribe to yourself, hype yourself up in the comments, because you got to be your own biggest fan, Tet or Hendy? Tet, not good because I have McBride. And guys, these guys are going to be fine, I think. Pearsall, I already answered that one. I'd go Pearsall and J-Mo. Ridley, Myers, Pearsall, and Myers. Play 2. Wide receivers in a flex. Go with the first 3. St. Brown, BTJ, Evans. Tracy, Ridley, Adunze, Strange, full PPR. Adunze and Tracy. Henderson, Tyrone Tracy, or Travis Etienne. I would go with Tyrone Tracy and Henderson. Tet or Egbuka. Tet, Jets or Commanders defense. Commanders. Zay Flowers, RJ Harvey, or Tank Bigsby. I would go week 1 Zay Flowers. I really like the matchup for Zay Flowers up against the Bills. I think there's going to be a high-scoring game. Look, I have concerns about Flowers for the whole season. What I mean by that is I don't think he's going to be a very reliable asset for your team. I think he's going to have really big games. He's going to have really down games. But in week 1, in the highest-scoring matchup projected on the week, you got to play Flowers. I didn't do that back when I was making videos. I'm mad I didn't think about that. No, I've watched a bunch of interviews with other YouTubers that obviously don't make fantasy stuff, and a lot of them talk about doing that. So I'm not the only fucking crazy person that was pumping myself up in the comment section. Chubb or Myers? Myers. And Wilson or Hunter? Hunter. No, Wilson over Hunter. Good morning, brother. Good morning. Are we starting Christian McCaffrey? Yes. Look, you didn't draft Christian McCaffrey to sit him. That is my opinion. If Christian McCaffrey plays, which is the expectation, you play him. You don't win your fantasy league playing scared. You don't win your week 1 matchup abandoning ship on your first round pick And so for that reason alone, I just don't think you could sit him. Now, again, if McCaffrey was like a round 8 pick, right? Not a round 1 pick, and you were worried about his health, then yeah, I would sit him, if you got him in the 8th round, but you didn't. You got him in the 1st or 2nd round. Pearsall or Tet, I would go Pearsall or Tet. I'm going Pearsall. Psych, I'm going Tet. Purdy or May, I would go Purdy in your scenario. Hendo or Josh Downs, Brees or Josh Downs, I would go, you're looking for the highest scoring upside, go Hendo. Aaron Jones or Dobbins, Aaron Jones. Flowers, Higgins. Swift or Thornton, Higgins. Mark Andrews or Njoku, it's a coin flip. If you ask me 5 minutes from now, I might say Andrews. That's how close that is. There are some questions on here where I have a very strong inkling of one guy over the other. There are other questions like the one you just asked where it is a true 50-50, but I lean Njoku. Yes, sir. Highlight of your day. Love your content. Thank you for all your help. Hunter, Hall, Olave, Cup, Diggs. I would go Diggs. Swift or Dobbins? Swift. Mark Andrews, David Njoku, Tyron Tracy. You need 3 in full PPR. I would go Odunze, J-Mo, Njoku. Full PPR, Walker or Sutton, Sutton. Devontae Adams or Egbuka, Adams. Egbuka or Olave, Egbuka. Just woke up. What's up, my boy? What's up? Ridley or Higgins, Higgins. Yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed and make sure you guys do join the Discord. The Discord is popping all the time. It is very fun. Make sure you guys are in there. A lot of people in there. A lot of people are saying it's the greatest Discord. Let me tell you. So make sure you guys are in there. In there like swimwear, as they say. And make sure you guys do leave a like on the stream. Leaving a like. Very nice. Oh, wait. Is there a super chat here that's just missing? A missing super chat? No, there's not. Okay. On my screen, it looks like there's a super chat under Max that's like hidden. Hidden in the depths of hell there. I would go Judkins. Would I drop Gordon? Tootin. I would drop Tootin for Quentin Johnson. Full PPR, Walker, Sutton, Adunze. Great question. Sutton. Thanks for the advice, Nick. No problem. Jameson Williams or Adunze. J-Mo or Adunze. I'd go with Adunze. Start 1, JSN, Egbuka, McLaurin, JSN. Other league, looking for McLaurin, J-Mo, Pearsall, or Tet. Look, this is a risk tolerance question here. How safe do you want to be versus how risky do you want to be? I will always be more of a risky fantasy player. That's just how I play fantasy. I think it's easy to get stuck with just playing the safest guys possible. The safer bet's McLaurin. I go Tet. Mooney or Leggett. Mooney's out, so you got to go Leggett. Devontae Adams, Sutton, Egbuka, Judy. I would go Adams, and I would go Sutton. DK or Swift. Swift. Andrews or J-Mo. I would go Andrews, but J-Mo has a higher ceiling. Risk it. You're risking it. Go Tet. Wake up at 7 a.m., chug 2 Red Bulls, drank 3 Henny and pineapple. You're drinking Henny and pineapple at 7 a.m.? Tyron, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I would only say that to Tyron because I know Tyron, right? He's a nice guy. I'm not actually being mean to him. If you guys don't know who Tyron is, I'm just messing with him. Yeah, make sure you risk it for the biscuit. Michael Pittman, Tyreek Hill, or McMillan. Play Tyreek Hill. Play Tyreek Hill. How are we feeling about Tyler Warren today? I feel pretty good. Let's go, Nick. Get the boys ready to go. We back. Yes, sir. Force calibration. How you doing, man? We going to eat today. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a great day, as they say. Hopefully today goes great. Hopefully nothing catastrophic happens like it always does. Like, football is so funny because you wait all year, right? It ends in February, and then maybe you watch like the XFL. Maybe you throw on the CFL, but that's just nothing compared to what this is. Maybe you watch college football, and I like college football. Shout out to the U. But ultimately, this is the big deal. This is what we all get excited for. And then ultimately, like, one of your players is probably today just going to die, Not actually, but you know what I mean, right? One of your players is going to go down, or your favorite team is going to lose in catastrophic fashion. Like, I could see Daniel Jones throwing a laser to Michael Pittman Jr. in the end zone, like with 2 seconds to go, and the Dolphins losing, and me just crashing out. Like, I could easily see that happening. So football's fun. It's my favorite sport. I love it. But it's like, it gives and it takes, and hopefully it gives more this year than it takes away. Thank you, Force. I appreciate you. Bengals defense, Bears defense, Ravens defense, or Texans. I would go Bengals. Diggs, Reed, Tillman, Dobbs. Diggs. Olave or Tyrone Tracy. Tracy. Henny and pineapple might just be the best cocktail drink of all time. I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever had that in my life. Should I start? I've had Henny before, not with pineapple, though. Should I start Dobbins or Swift? Swift. Shit got me amped up. You think Mark Andrews and David Njoku can be started on the same team? Yes. Brock or T-Law? T-Law, I have both of them ranked back to back. I think T-Law is 11, Purdy is 12. If not, it's T-Law 10, Purdy 11. Both good starts on the week. I feel good about both of them. I just like the matchup a little bit better for Lawrence. So that's why we lean with Lawrence. Now, I have a lot of Jonathan Taylor in DFS today. So if Jonathan Taylor beats down the Dolphins, it'll be, at least I'll be able to sleep at night. Hopefully as a rich man, But if I'm not a rich man and Jonathan Taylor beats the shit out of the Dolphins, it's going to be real tough. It's going to be real tough for me, guys. Real tough. Real tough. Njoku or Tyler Warren Njoku? Thank you for the super chat, Rafi. Ricky Pearsall or Garrett Wilson, full PPR, Ashton Genty or Devon Achane. So that first question is way easier than the second question. For me, that's very tough on Genty versus Achane because realistically, you want both of those guys in your lineup every single week. In my opinion, week 1, gun to the head, I am going to play Achane, but I think Genty is a lot safer. What I mean by Genty being a lot safer than Achane is because Genty is coming into the week with no restrictions, right? There's no injury with Genty. There's no talk of Genty being banged up. There's none of that, whereas that is being talked about with Achane, right? So it is significantly safer to roll out Genty compared to Achane, but I go Achane. And then Ricky Pearsall or Garrett Wilson. I would go with Ricky Pearsall. I like Garrett Wilson. I don't love the matchup. I think Garrett Wilson's going to get a lot of targets. I think he has a very safe floor this week, but Ricky Pearsall has a much bigger ceiling, especially if Jawan Jennings isn't uber involved in week number 1 in the game plan, which is possible because he is coming off the injury, the contract negotiation. So for me, it would be Ricky and Devon Achane. But again, if you want to be safe, you go Ricky and Ricky and Genty. But I'm going Ricky and Achane. Should I start Jerry Jeudy or DJ Moore? I'm going DJ Moore. DJ Moore has the easiest matchup on the week for a wide receiver. Now, I get why people were nervous about DJ Moore in the summer. I get why you were worried about what DJ Moore did last season, but it's week 1. You started him. You drafted him, so you're going to sit in the bed that you made, which is a great looking bed, potentially. Because the matchup is so good. So for me, I would go Wiki DJ Moore. McMillan, JSN, Pittman, Golden. Who do I start? JSN. Some pineapple Fanta. I'm not a big Fanta guy. I don't really like I like soda. I don't really like those fruity sodas. In my opinion, they just mess up my stomach if I drink too many of them. Shit. What do we mess up here? Oh, Chase Brown. All right. I am going to set my lineups, walk to do, and do some drugs. All right. Best of luck. Have fun. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you to everyone who stopped by today's stream. It means a lot to me that everyone's here. We have so many people in the stream. Need high upside because of Worthy. Go Igbuka. All right. See ya, Big Al. Jerry Jeudy or DJ Moore? DJ Moore. Kraft or Ingram? Ingram. Ridley or Warren? Warren. We're playing 2 quarterbacks and currently have JJ McCarthy and Rodgers and then Cam Ward on the bench. Thoughts? Yeah, my thought is you definitely waited way too long to take your quarterback. In a 2 quarterback league, you cannot wait that long. You might have just gotten buried, though, by the fact that your league mates hammered them. So, it is what it is. You live and you learn, right? Next year, you will have a much better idea of what to do going into your draft, but it's okay. I do agree with you, though. You have the right guys in your lineup. I got to make a 1 p.m. choice, CMC or Henderson. Play CMC. He's expected to play. Kyler or Drizzy Drake. I'm going Kyler. Spot Igbuka or Waddle Igbuka. What's up, Green Eye Band? How you doing, man? Full PPR. I'm going Travion Henderson. Oh, Brian, you don't drink anymore? That's good. Good on you, honestly. Respect. Brian is such a nice guy. Respect to him. Brian, you got any new cards, by the way? I wish I could get into collecting cards and stuff, but I already have a hobby, which is gambling. That costs me a lot of money, so can't really get into card collecting. Even though I have a bunch of cards, I have a rookie LaMelo Ball. I think that may be worth something someday. I was looking at all my old baseball cards. I didn't really have anything worth anything. I sold all of my old Pokemon cards to my friend a while back, like during COVID when Pokemon was popping, and I got some good money off that. I like Pokemon, but not enough to just have the cards sitting in my basement, rotting away. Igbuka or Henderson? Igbuka. Evan Ingram or Tyler Warren? Evan Ingram. Also, congrats on your marriage. You got married last year too. Congrats, Veronica. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I got married in April to my wife, Nicole. No idea if she's watching or not. Hello, Shakir or RJ Harvey? RJ Harvey. Tracy or JMO? Tracy or JMO? Tracy or JMO? JMO. Start 2. Ridley, Sutton, Pearsall, Sutton, and Pearsall. Good boy. See you, Hanover. What's up, Legendary One? How you doing, man? What is up with it? What is up with it? All right. Trying to get the rest of my DFS lineups in. Just making sure I didn't accidentally put the same lineup in multiple times. That is like one of the worst feelings ever when you put the same lineup in twice and then like you miss out on a lineup that was going to be dirty and you played the wrong one. Egbuka for me. McCarthy or Drake May? Drake May. Metcalf, Diggs, Dobbins, Diggs. Who should I start at running back? Sampson, Krosky, or Robinson? I would go Krosky. Kyler or Drake? Kyler or Drake? Kyler or Drake? I would go Kyler. Pearsall or Ford? Pearsall. Rams, Texans, Bengals defense? I would go Rams. CMC or Henderson? CMC. Adunze over JMO? Yes. Yes. Adunze has the best matchup that a wide receiver can have. That's why. That is why I feel very, 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 very good about his matchup. Now, could it just go complete bust? Of course. What's his name? JMO just has a really tough matchup. And ultimately, that weighs it down. So that's why. Jackson Smith. All right. Dobbins, Coleman, Downs, Mason, Jameson, Williams. I would play JMO. Back for year 6. Yes, sir, Joel. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. By the way, it is linked in the pinned comment. So if you haven't exited the pinned comment, you will see it for the whole stream. Make sure you guys are in there. Oh, man. I'm starting to stress about getting these fucking lineups in. I should honestly put them in way earlier in the day, but the problem is there's way too many injuries to put them in earlier. So I just talk to you guys while I put them in. That's what we do, baby. Egbuka or JMO Egbuka? Oh, you haven't picked up any cards lately? Okay, that's cool. That's all right. That's all right. Waddle, Myers, Terry, Myers, and Terry. My addiction is retro video games. I used to love video games, and I still do. I just don't have like as much time to play anymore. The last game I bought was the new Mafia video game. It has terrible ratings. A lot of people hate it. I am only like 5 chapters in, so I won't speak to like, oh, this game is way better than people are saying. But the game is at least enjoyable. And, the Mafia games, I just like the story. That's what I really care about. So, yeah, I agree with you. Go with Igbuka. Diggs over Breece Hall. Do you trust? Do I trust with the injury? Yes, I'm going Diggs. J-Mo or Jennings? Jennings. But J-Mo safer. Who should I sit out of the 3? Sit Garrett Wilson. What up, homie? What's up, man? Did I win this trade? Bijan and Hunter for Jacobs and BTJ? Yes, I think you won that trade. Henderson, Pollard, Debo, sit 1. Henderson, Pollard, Debo, sit 1. I would sit Debo. Egbuka or Henderson? Egbuka. Sampson, Krosky or Robinson? Krosky. April 28th is the best day in April. Any defenses you're looking at? I drafted Buffalo in both leagues. Go with the Rams if they're available. If they are available. Got Drake May first auto. Oh, you have a Drake May autograph card? That's sick. Alexis, thank you for the super chat. We're back. What's up? What's up? Picked up Garrett Wilson, but I'm getting laughed at by my league mates for drafting him. Is he not good? He is good. His problem has been there's a couple of players in the NFL that are basically just being held hostage by the quarterback. We see it all the time. Talented receivers being held down by the fact that the quarterback play is just terrible. And I would say Garrett Wilson is like the prime suspect for that. He's always had the talent. He had the talent in college at Ohio State. He had it last year early on in the season, and then they bring in Devontae Adams in. So look, people are going to laugh. Look, I get why people are laughing at Garrett Wilson, right? Because if you drafted Garrett Wilson over his NFL career 3 or 4 years now, you have not been happy a single time with his production. But to me, he passes the eye test. He looks good, better offense realistically. So I do feel good about him this week. I will be honest with you. I feel good about Garrett Wilson this season. Again, I get why there's people that are negative about Garrett Wilson, and until he shakes that narrative off, until he puts up the big season, that's always going to be something that's on his back. But we've seen it before. Guys get a new quarterback and they magically transcend. I don't think that Justin Fields is the best quarterback ever. Justin Fields did play with him in college. They have a connection. He's going to get fed. So I feel good about Garrett Wilson. Thank you for the super chat, Alexis. I'm cooked in a 16-man league. My waivers are so bad. Pick up Michael Wilson. Reason for Diggs over Metcalf. Metcalf has a terrible matchup against the Jets. Metcalf has a terrible. I would go. The reason why I like Diggs over Metcalf is because Metcalf's matchup is really tough against the Jets. Tyler Warren. So that's how I would go. I'd go Diggs. Garrett Wilson. That's why I like Diggs better. Garrett Wilson or Ricky. I traded Dalton Kincaid for Rome Odunze. If you got Rome Odunze, you should be feeling real nicey about that trade. You should be feeling real good. So go with him. Hubbard or Kamara? I would go Hubbard for week 1. I like both, but I would go Hubbard. That would be my opinion. Igbuka or McMillan? McMillan. Garrett Wilson or Ricky. Henderson or Odunze? Henderson. William, thank you for the super chat. Half PPR, Wilson, Ridley, Igbuka, DJ Moore. Great question in half PPR. I like, again, I'm going to say this for the 1,000th time. I love Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley is going to have a huge season. But in game 1 against that matchup, up against Patrick Surtain, in a game where Cam Ward's first ever NFL action, he could look lost. He could need a GPS. He could need a map. I'm going with, I'm going to go ahead and fade away from him. So I'm going to go with DJ Moore and Igbuka. DJ Moore did screw us over last year big time. The quarterback play can be to blame. The system as a whole could be to blame. But DJ Moore is still on paper the number 1 receiver on this team. And we should act like that until he's not. Right? Until something changes, we are going to continue to treat him as if he is the wide receiver 1 on the team. He has the easiest matchup for a wide receiver in the National Football League, so he has to be played. Igbuka, first ever game. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. I think he gets fed. I go DJ Moore and Igbuka. I feel good about them. And Kev, we can, just not this week. I have, Kevin, we can play next week. I just have too many more lineups to put in, and there's only 19 minutes left before a lock. So not this week, but next week, just invite me and I'll join, and just remind me. So yeah, I would go Igbuka and DJ Moore. Migs, what's up, my man? Round R8, my team, 14-man. Rate, half PPR. Redraft, 1 flex. Bryce Young, Jay Jettis, Kyron, Kamara, Sutton, DJ Moore, Igbuka, Bryce, Loveland, Sampson, Reed. Much love to you as well. I like your team a lot, especially because it is a 14-team league. Now, 14-team leagues, now, again, we talk about this all the time. In like a 12-team league, there's always going to be like 1 or 2 people that screw the pooch typically and have a bad team. In a 10-team league, basically no one has a bad team. Same thing with an 8-team league. Obviously, there's going to be teams that are better than others, but it's really hard in an 8 or 10-team league to have a completely terrible team that's bottom of the barrel that looks like a fucking toddler drafted it. Okay. That's not what we have here. But in a 14-team league, you can drastically mess everything up. You could just have drafted the completely wrong players. You could miss on running backs. You could fall heavily behind at certain positions and just get buried. And that's all she wrote. In your scenario, your team looks very good. You didn't get buried at running back. You have competent running backs. You have great wide receivers. You have high upside quarterback, high upside tight end. So I feel great about your team. In a 14-team league, that is about a 9.5 out of 10, in my opinion. 9.5 out of 10. I feel very, very, very good about that team, especially if Loveland hits. I feel good about Bryce Young. So I love that team. That's like a 9.5 out of 10. Start one. Oh my gosh, there's so many super chats. Marv, Egbuka, DJ Moore. I would play DJ Moore. Glock Guy 56. Thank you for the super chat. Drop Jaden Higgins or Josh Downs to roster at DST. I would drop Jaden Higgins because, look, Jaden Higgins' best possible outcome is wide receiver 2 on the Texans. Now, I like Jaden Higgins. I like what I saw out of him in college. But the good scenario, the good ending of the season for Josh Downs is wide receiver 1, where he is the second go-to guy for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones hits him a bunch. That would be my lean, would be to keep Josh Downs, because Josh Downs' upside is higher than Jaden Higgins. His floor is higher than Jaden Higgins. So that's why I would lean that way. I feel a lot safer about him. That's the way I go. So go ahead and get rid of Higgins. Even though I'd love to roster Higgins, I would get rid of Higgins in your scenario because Josh Downs just a little bit safer, higher upside too. Thank you for the super chat, Glock Guy. So drop Jaden Higgins. Robert S. Hunter Henry or Pitts. Darnell Mooney out today. I'm going to go ahead and take Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is always going to be risky. You are always going to feel some type of way deep down when you go ahead and throw Kyle Pitts into your lineup, because Kyle Pitts has screwed you before and he'll probably screw you again. But in week number 1 here, great matchup up for him up against the Bucs. The Bucs defense was not able to stop him at all last year. I love Kyle Pitts this week. I think Kyle Pitts is going to Hulk smash. So I'm going Kyle Pitts. Even better without Darnell Mooney. CMC update, he's playing. Allegedly. TJ Hawkinson. Thank you, Zachary. TJ Hawkinson or Njoku. Pick 2. Hubbard, Hunter, or Cup. Great question. Hubbard, lock him in and lock in Hunter. I'm going Njoku over Hawkinson. I moved Njoku up the rankings as the week has gone on. The matchup is just so good for him up against the Bengals that it's kind of hard to deny. Rest of season, if you're like Nick, who'd rather have Hawkinson or Njoku, I think I would lean with Hawkinson. But for week number 1 with that matchup, to me, I am going to go with I'm going to go ahead and go with Njoku. Yeah, I just feel better about Njoku up against the Bengals defense than Hubbard and Travis Hunter. I get that both Travis Hunter and Kupp are kind of on the same wavelength of risk, but if we were to sim to the end of the games, right, like it was Madden, I could see Kupp just having his good game for Kupp being like 12 points, whereas the good game for Hunter is like the reason why you win your week, right? He scores 30 points. So I'm going to go ahead and go Njoku, Hubbard, and Hunter. Thank you for the super chat. Michael, thank you for the super chat. PPR, pick 2, Waddle, Flowers, Tet McMillan. Tet McMillan and Waddle for me. Tet McMillan is the lock out of that group. And then there are questions with both Waddle and Flowers. Flowers is in more of the high-scoring game environment, but Flowers also, look, again, I think Flowers has big upside any given week. Flowers is the kind of guy that can also get iced out of the game completely and completely drown you out of winning your week by scoring like 2 points. I think the Dolphins offense is going to look better this year. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I think the Dolphins are going to be a great team or anything. Again, I don't lie to you guys about anything. Even if my hope is that the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Waddle will be fine, whereas I think Flowers could be more of a disaster. If you're looking for the most upside possible, I would go Tet and Flowers. But to put a little bit more safety in there, I'm going to go Tet and Waddle. That would be my lean. Vaporous Plenty. Thank you. Vaporous Plenty. Thank you for the super chat. Should I start Pat Fryermuth or Mason Taylor or Ertz? Great question. Now, Pat Fryermuth actually, I think, is going to be very useful early on in the season, potentially with Jonnu Smith being hurt, with the reports that he is more of the number one guy on the team compared to Jonnu Smith. But I'm going to be honest with you, when push comes to shove, I don't feel great about throwing Fryermuth out there in week 1. So my lean would be to go with Ertz. Ertz has a tough matchup up against the Giants, but I could really see Ertz finding the end zone potentially multiple times, whereas I just don't think that's as likely for the other guys. And I don't really love Mason Taylor week 1. So I'd go Ertz. Wyatt, thank you for the super chat. Judy, Ford, Pittman, or Dobbins. Now, we've kind of been down on Judy in this stream, not because I don't like Judy necessarily, because the matchup's great. It's just more of like, hey, I have my reservations with Judy against some of these other guys where I just feel a little bit more confident about them. But in your case, it's definitely Judy. This is an excellent matchup up against the Bengals defense. If there ever was a game where Judy scored 35 fantasy points, it would be today. Right? If there ever was going to be that game where the stars align, the gods, do whatever to align, the chakras are correct, whatever that shit is. I don't know. The stars align. I don't know what all these sayings are, I'm talking about. So if all the stars were to align today, and the big game would go to Judy. So I like Judy way better than all those other guys. So it's definitely Judy. Mig, start 1, half PPR, Thornton, Pierce, Marks. I think Marks is very much going to potentially be useful a couple of weeks from now. But in week number one, gun to the head, I lean with Thornton. I like Horton, and I think he will be involved as the season goes along. I think Marks could be involved as the season goes along. But week 1, Thornton, in my opinion, will slot in as the wide receiver number 2 on that team behind Jacoby Myers. So for that reason alone, you should feel very good about Thornton in comparison to those other guys. So it's Thornton, Lord, Chris, Ridley, Cup, Juwan Jennings at flex, half PPR. Go with Juwan Jennings. Ridley has a very tough matchup. Cup, I'm just kind of iffy on how involved he will be in the offense. So your best bet is just to go with Juwan Jennings. I get he's kind of coming off of an injury and all that, or just a contract situation. It's kind of unclear which one it is. But for me, I think the smart move is to go ahead and go with Juwan Jennings. Notorious Soldier, tight end 1, Otten, Fryermuth, Strange. Thank you, OTC, the Tribal Chief. Thank you. And hopefully I answered that question correctly. It is Juwan Jennings for me, Lord Chris. I would go with Strange. I just think he has the most upside. Name, team, position tier. That's the reason why I lean that way. I just feel the most safe about him. When it comes to Fryermuth or Otten, I think Strange should be getting a decent amount of targets. I mean, the second safest bet would be Otten. It would be Strange, Otten, then Fryermuth. Again, I like Fryermuth a ton, and I want Fryermuth to be successful. But the matchup against the Jets isn't the best. And I can't even guarantee, like, Jonnu could out-target him. So for me, it's just kind of, you don't want to be doing that. So, and I actually removed Brock Bowers from my tight end rankings. So let me fix that. Brock Bowers, Las Vegas. That would have been bad, right? If you guys just sat Brock Bowers because he wasn't in my rankings because I fucking messed up the copy-paste. But I fixed it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about it, sweetheart. Yeah, I would go Strange. I just think Strange kind of has the most upside. So that's the way that we lean there. Strange. Good luck to everyone. Good luck. W Stream, thank you. Moniel Patel. Ridley or Dobbins half PPR. Look, this to me would be kind of the scenario where you might actually want to play Ridley because of the fact that Dobbins doesn't have like a guaranteed great role, but even in this scenario, I'm going to take the chance on Dobbins because I think Dobbins just has more upside because of the matchup. The matchup here is just so brutal for Ridley. Like this could be he could get just locked out, straight up locked out, dog shit game. So I would go with Dobbins. Here we go. Garrett Wilson, Kenneth Walker, James Conner start two. Thank you again, Moniel. I would go Dobbins. Walker and Connor. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Am I cooked since I started Worthy this week? No. Would I be happy that I started Worthy? No. But the way I look at it is, how the hell were you going to know that that was going to happen, right? Like, how did you know? How could you have possibly have known that that was going to be the outcome of the game? So I wouldn't feel that bad about it. I wouldn't, not be able to sleep because of it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I would not worry too much. I would not worry too much about that. I would feel good about it. I feel fine about it, Not great though. If Ertz will hurt me when I have Terry. If I start Ertz, will it hurt me if I have Terry? No. Look, my thoughts are when you have two teams or if you have two players on a great team, I'm fine starting both of them. Now, a great team, I don't necessarily mean the team itself. I mean the offense, right? We want to have players on great offenses, and the Commanders would be a team that I would consider to have a great offense. So I think it's perfectly acceptable to have two players on that team. Now, if you want to start every week, two guys on the Jets, two guys on the Giants, two guys on whatever team, the Browns, whatever team you think sucks ass, then of course you probably don't want that. But in your scenario, I would feel relatively fine about having two guys on the Commanders on my team at the same time. Can you make a filter on anything that starts with NFL gets auto banned? I could, but the problem is people type NFL in all the time. And it's not the bots. So while I do think that's a good shout, it is not necessarily the most feasible thing because people type in NFL all the time. All of the time in the chat. So I can't necessarily just remove every comment that says NFL off the rip because then some actual real questions will get removed and I just don't want that. And then people will question like, why did my message not go through and all that? I know the bots are fucking annoying. It does annoy me too, but there's really nothing that we can do about them. No, not type, but the name. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Thanks you for rating. Dropped Stroud for Young. I like that. And no problem, Migs. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, anytime anyone super chats, you're always guaranteed to get an answer. If you just drop a question in chat, I try to get to every question. There are a lot of you guys. At some point, there was over 250 people in here. So yeah, it is hard to get to every single person's question, even if I wanted to, which I do, right? I don't want to just answer half of you. I want to answer every single question. What do you think about the Pats defense? I think they're fine. It's about that time. Yes, sir. Yeah, you might get shadow banned. I had to search for your stream. Normally you'd be in my free. There's no way that I'm shadow banned. There would not have been 200 plus people in here if I was shadow banned. Let's see here. Because I don't put anything on YouTube that would be shadow banned worthy. Except for that one time we talked about that guy who offered up his wife to get traded for Christian McCaffrey. If anyone remembers that stream, now that was a stream where we got taken down. They took us down after that one. They said no ads on this stream, buddy, because of that. But that was honestly one of the funniest things ever. The guy that would trade his wife for Christian McCaffrey. What an insane thing that was. Probably one of the funniest moments we've had on stream was then. That was hilarious. I still remember that just due to how funny it was. All right, going to lock in my rankings. Again, anyone that's on Patreon, the rankings are about to be fully up to date. So they were up to date basically, but now they're even more up to date. They're the most up to date. Now I'm going to answer the rest of the questions. We're going to go hammer mode, which is basically just I just answer every single question unless there's a super chat. Last thing, what are your thoughts on Golden in week 1? I like Golden. I think Golden's going to have a good season. I'm not betting my house on Golden week 1. That's my opinion on things. I think it's fine if you play him, but I don't love necessarily needing to start him week 1. Like or needing to start him is fine, but being like, oh, he's guaranteed to fucking Hulk smash in week 1 would concern me. Like, if you needed that game for him to go crazy for you to win, I'd be very concerned. But otherwise, I think he has a decent enough game in week 1. Should be the clear wide receiver 1 on that team. Okay, rapid fire now. Thank you again for the super chat. Tyreek Hill, McMillan, T. Higgins. I would go with Tyreek Hill. What do you think about B-Rob if McCaffrey misses time? I think it's going to be a split between him and Garendo. I lean slightly towards B-Rob just because of touchdown upside. But again, I don't think that either of those guys necessarily are league-winning players. Aaron Jones, Josh Downs, Jerome Ford. I would go Rome and Aaron Jones. Giants or Lions defense, I would go with the Lions just because they have a better defense than the Giants. I would not really feel comfortable playing either of those defenses this week, though. Yeah, make sure you guys do join the Discord. Chuba or Pearsall, I would go Chuba. Tyreek Hill, McMillan, Tians, Tyreek Hill. Bryce Young or Njoku. Whenever it's a super flex question, you basically always want to start the quarterback because they always, they're significantly more likely that they score the most amount of points. It's not in every scenario, right? But like Cam Ward today, I might consider sitting him, but not. You definitely would not be sitting Bryce Young. Pearsall, Hall, Etienne, Bill, Ford, Pearsall. Best of luck, Tyron. I like your team a lot. We already rated it. It's 8.5 out of 10. Bryce Young over Njoku. Wilson or Igbuka? Wilson, if you want to be safe, I'd go Igbuka, I think. Start 2, half PPR, Jacoby, Josh Downs, JCM, Pop, Douglas, Jacoby, and Pop. Jacoby and Downs. Marvin Harrison or Rome. Marvin Harrison, Igbuka or Moore. Is okay to start CMC and Juan? Yes. Juwan Jennings? Yes. We buy homes near you. Non-PPR flex 1. Igbuka, Diggs, Jones, Mason, Harvey. Flex 1, I would go with in non-PPR Igbuka because I think Igbuka has the highest chance of all of those guys to get into the end zone. So I would go with Igbuka. It would be between Aaron Jones and Igbuka. I lean with Igbuka. Thank you guys for stopping by the stream. Thank you again for the super chats. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Igbuka, Pearsall, or Travion Henderson for my flex. I would go Pearsall. JMO or Junior. Harry. Dude, am I stupid? Who the fuck is Harry? See you, Brian. Like my brain is like fried. We've been streaming for 3 hours. Calvin Ridley or Henderson or Diggs. I would go Henderson. Let's go. Hall or Tracy. Hall. Good luck, all. Shakir or Golden, Adams or Pollard, Adams. Thanks, brother. Good luck. Good to be back. Yes, sir. Good luck to you. Shaheed or Ridley, Shaheed. Actually, I'd play Ridley, probably. Best of luck to everyone. Harrison Jr. Oh, Harrison Jr. Sorry, Harrison. Maserati Marv. I'm so stupid. I understand what you mean now. That read wrong, I read that wrong. Best of luck to everyone today. Best of luck to everyone's fantasy teams. Best of luck to everyone's real life team, unless you are a fan of the Colts. In that case, you can go fuck yourself. Go Dolphins. Thanks for the stream. No problem. Hall or Judy. Thank you. No problem, Corey. Have PPR, Metcalf or Pearsall. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go watch the games now. If you need me, you can comment on YouTube. I try to answer the comments. We value your opinion highly over here. I appreciate that. I hope you guys do enjoy the games today. I hope you guys have a fun time watching the games. Go Dolphins. The games start at 1:03. I don't know if I missed the first commercial of Red Zone yet. Those assholes pay all that money. Go Dolphins, baby. Fins up. Adios. Everyone, make sure you smash that like button. Facts. Hit that subscribe button. Good boy. W mods. Goff Fields, Igbuka, Superflex, Goff. W channel. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you to all the mods. Thank you to everyone that was here today. Thank you to everyone that was helping answer the questions. Shout out to Spock. Team grade. This team looks really good. This almost feels like this has to be like a 10-team league. But yeah, it looks really good, like a 9.5 out of 10. Man, too late. It's noon. Good luck. Thank you. Bird Gang. Well, you could still get your lineups in some leagues right now. You could still probably put Goff in. But best of luck, everyone. I'll see you guys. Videos tomorrow. Videos Tuesday. Video Wednesday. Video Thursday. Oh, it's a 6-team league. Okay, yeah, your team's amazing. Live long and prosper. See you guys. We will be back with videos tomorrow. The next stream is going to be Thursday. Then we're going to be streaming Sunday. Love you long time. Go Dolphins. Fins up. Goodbye. Peace out. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out. I appreciate all you guys. Shout out to Spock. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to all the mods. I appreciate you all. Have a good one. Peace out.